can't bust out of here like they do in the movies. Because even if you do, you still in prison. In the prison of your mind. You go punching your fist against a stone wall, you're not using your brain. That's what they want you to do. Look at you. What makes you ashamed of being you?
Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are.
You're the waymaker. My God is a game changer. Got a big plan, he a big man with a big hand and a haymaker. I done been in the pit.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Lake Hamilton High School. As tonight, the Shiloh Saints get ready to take on the Lake Hamilton Wolves. As you see, the sun has set over the Ouachita Mountains as the Saints have traveled the long trip down to the southern part of Arkansas. About a 4-hour bus ride for the Saints as they get down here for tonight for the game. But pretty good crowd on the Shiloh side right here that's joined us, even though it's Halloween night and a long trip to go through. My partner Cliff Anderson joins me as we get ready to go. And so, Cliff, it's a long trip. We talked about it. We're going to talk about it with Coach in the pregame show a little bit. Hey, we had one other long trip this year. We had to go to Oklahoma City, about the same length of time. Handled that one well, 72-0. We're okay with another 72-0 win tonight, but overall, in the big scheme of things, Saints handled that well. Need to do the same thing here tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, you're still playing both teams tonight. Very important game, even though you've got one team that's kind of rolling in Shiloh, and then you've got another team that's just struggling through conference play in Lake Hamilton Wolves, but they're still in the playoff hunt out of the 6A West. Shiloh obviously in the playoff hunt, still trying to solidify that number 2 seed, all-important number 2 seed, unless Greenwood were to stumble tonight and next week. But all signs looking like the Saints will be a 2 seed if we take care of business tonight and at home next week on senior night against Van Buren. And the reason that the number 2 seed is so important, in 2 weeks, you would have a bye, first round of the playoffs. 3 weeks from now, you'd have a first round playoff game at home, very important. And then we'll see what happens in the playoffs. Maybe you get an upset and you get to host a semifinal, or you go on the road like we did last year at Benton and came away with a victory, and then you're in Little Rock. So, man, I mean, we were talking last week, Billy, just the season is just rolling. You know, it seems like in non-conference play, the first 3 games of the season, they just kind of drag, and the season starts really slow. But once you get into conference play, it's really rolling. And, again, you got 2 teams here that are kind of going different directions. Shiloh coming in really hot, Lake Hamilton trying to get something going. And but, you know, we've come a long way down here to, as you said, the Ouachita Mountains here in west central Arkansas, and you want to drive all the way back, the long drive back with a win and not a loss. That would be a very, very long trip.
Yeah, Saints fell last year to Lake Hamilton. An upset as Shiloh fell in that game to the Wolves 35-28. Cliff and I will talk a little bit more about that. But as you see, they're about to do the national anthem here at Lake Hamilton as they just got through with their senior night festivities. But earlier this week, we talked to the head coach of the Saints, Tucker Barnard, about this matchup between the Saints and the Wolves. So here's Coach Barnard's thoughts of tonight's game.
Welcome to the Shiloh Christian Pregame Show.
Welcome to the Coach Tucker Barnard Show. Get ready for the Saints and the Lake Hamilton Wolves and the 9th game of the season already. And, Coach, as you go look back for last week to Shiloh, talked a lot about focus, kind of the opponent with no name. We did that again. Another week, another well-focused, just excellent offensive execution in the first half.
Yeah, it was a great offensive night. We and both sides of the ball. We jumped out really quick, and execution, like you say, that's a great word, because it was a well executed night. Lots of things going well. We didn't make a lot of mistakes, and I think that's what we're after. You know, is just to continue doing that. You be more and more consistent each week. You know, and figure out the things that you're really good at. And continue building on that.
Coach, with week 9, or should we kind of start off with that? It's hard to believe we're at that point in the season. Playoffs in line. Win the last 2, you're guaranteed at least the 2 seed. Obviously, and if Mountain Home's able to beat Greenwood, you may wind up at a 3-way tie. At this point of the season, what are you talking with the team about playoffs, or is it just everything Lake Hamilton? That's it.
Yeah, that's funny. We haven't even mentioned the playoffs, not and we've started looking at things and thinking about it a little bit. What different scenarios are out there, but there's really nothing to do at this point. We're not gonna try to work ahead that far and make guesses at who we might be playing. It is kind of fun just for coach's office fodder, to look at the different scenarios and see how things might play out. And Sylvan Hills looks really good on the other side. We know what Benton has. In our own conference, there's still some work to be done though. The Mountain Home's a good football team. I don't know how they'll match up against Greenwood. It'll be an interesting game to see. Van Buren's got a couple of tough things left to do as well. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But again, if we take care of ourselves, we'll be at least a 2. And somebody helps us out a little bit, then maybe even better.
Coach, we talked about earlier in these shows a little bit about you prepare the non-conference to prepare for conference. We took the long 3-hour bus trip to Kansas City, Oklahoma City earlier in the year. Got another long, tough road trip on Friday night. But you do those type of things to prepare you for what you're going to see at conference. What did you think you learned from your team of that long trip to OKC? Obviously, we won 72-0. So the guys are certainly focused.
Yeah, we came out really well. Same thing in that game. We ran a kickoff back for a touchdown and really just never looked back on either side of the ball. So that was a great night. This trip will mirror that trip almost identically. I mean, I pulled up the schedule from the day we went to Oklahoma City, and we're just real similar in everything that we're doing, about the time that we're leaving, the time we're getting out of class, the time that we're going to stop and have a meal, all of that. But one thing that we try really hard to do when we're working through that schedule, and it was the same way last week. We moved to a Thursday night, right? And one thing that we want to do is we want that game day experience to feel as much like it's supposed to, And so even last week with the Thursday game, once we got to our team meal, it was exactly the same. They were different start time, playing at 7:30 instead of 7. But we talked to the kids about just their mental preparation. Okay, once we get this point, everything is just like it is every other Friday, right? So we try to do that with our travel. Try to make it work out where we're having a team meal around the same time, and so we'll get to do that in Russellville. And then we try to arrive at the stadium about the same time, every single week, so that kids just have a feel for how much time they have, and then I think it just really helps with their mental preparation.
Yeah, long road trip. Lake Hamilton, obviously they defeated us here at home last year. Most people think about Lake Hamilton, they think about just kind of pounding the rock. That's what they've been for a long, long time. Kind of diversified their offense. Their defense looks a little similar to us at times as we kind of look at things. How about what Lake Hamilton brings to the table this year? A little different look.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really well coached football team, and they've changed a lot of things up. They haven't won as many games as they would like, I'm sure, but Coach Guillory down there does an outstanding job, and they made to me, I'm going to call it a complete and total change. I mean, from the offense that they were in now into more of a gun, and they're still running some of the same plays, same concepts and things, but it does have a very different look, very different feel to it out of the gun. Defensively, yeah, we've seen some things that look a lot like what we're doing defensively, and that'll be fun. It'll be a challenge. I mean, the kids got a big kick out of that this week. Seeing some of the same things that we're doing happening on video with another team. So that was fun. We'll see. I mean, they've created some chaos for some people, and we'll have to. Hopefully, we can slow that down for ourselves. Something else interesting about their games is just the tempo that they're playing at. As I looked back over the previous games that they've had, and their opponents are getting 50 plays in a game, or 47 plays in a game, 52 plays in a game. Where we're accustomed to running somewhere around 75, 80. We've run as many as 87 or 88 plays. kind of game. So the tempo could be very, very different, and we'll have to make sure that we focus through that if they're able to slow the game down that way.
Yeah, Saints get ready for Lake Hamilton and next to last conference game of the regular season. So, Coach Chuckabar, we thank you for joining us. More of a pregame show coming up next. Saints and the Wolves.
This has been the Shiloh Christian Pregame Show.
Bassett Furniture, next to Target in Fayetteville. Go Saints!
Bowen Kemp Construction, your premier full-service construction partner based in Northwest Arkansas. We're the only regional firm offering pre-construction, construction, design build, and full commercial development services, including site selection. Backed by national experience and rooted in regional strength, we're committed to building exceptional spaces and lasting relationships. Your project will be seamless, safe, and on budget. Bowen Kemp Construction. Let's build something great together.
We welcome you back to Lake Hamilton High School. So we're kind of talking a little bit low for you here as we have the national anthem going on. So we're going to kick it down to the field for that. So that's our national anthem from Lake Hamilton High School here. So they're doing the Pledge of Allegiance right now. As you see the stands here on this kind of a different setup here. Most stadiums you see are kind of a west home side and east home side like you see at Shiloh. This stadium's a little different. You have a west end zone and a east end zone. So a little bit different. So you're looking at north and south across the field, but because the sun is set, you saw a great sunset as you came in. Well, that won't be an issue. You won't have one team kind of going into the sun. We saw that play out at Cliff and I were talking about this earlier. We saw that play out at Victory Christian a couple years ago. Their field is east-west, and you had a team in that early game that was staring in the sun the whole first quarter. It's kind of a strategic advantage a little bit. So, like, the Cowboys think that's a strategic advantage too, but so you see the honor guard walking off the field as everybody's still standing as they get ready for that. So it's senior night at Lake Hamilton for the Wolves, their last home game of the season. So the game is a little bit kind of off with the timing schedule. Saints had to leave the field early so they could get ready to go through that. So then the Saint band's going to play a little bit before it goes, part of the Lake Hamilton pregame show, but as we get a little bit set, we'll see. Great crowds. You can see the crowd shot right there as we play in the St. Alma Mater and fight song, but good crowd has made it a long way trip to Lake Hamilton. We know we probably got a lot of people watching online, as maybe got some little kids doing trick-or-treating and other things tonight, so hopefully they've gotten candy and can sit back and the Saints can have some fun with this one on Halloween night here in Lake Hamilton. So Cliff will get it in. Let's talk a little bit about the pre-games. We'll go in this. Lake Hamilton comes into the game 2-6. They are 1-4 in conference play. Their one win in conference play came over Siloam Springs in the first conference week. They won that game 53-26. But Cliff, if you look the last 3 weeks, as the kind of quality of the teams is improved. They got really blown out by 3 straight weeks. They lost big to Van Buren. Greenwood got them here 42-10. Mountain Home beat them 42-7 last week. So in their last 3 weeks, they're averaging 8 points a game. They've really struggled on offense against the better teams in the conference.
Yeah, they really have, and it's an offense that is in transition. This team is in transition compared to previous seasons. You and I were talking earlier about the offensive game plan and set, and really what's been the identity of these Wolves over the past few years under Coach Gilleran, and that is a wing T offense. Ground, pound it on the ground, and we saw that last year when they came up to Shiloh. Boy, they just ran at the Saints, and we just could not stop them. 35-28 game, we were right in it, but boy, it felt like it was a lot worse, really, to be honest, because they just pounded us on the ground that particular night. I don't think we're going to see so much of the ground and pound tonight out of the Lake Hamilton Wolves. They have gone to more of a spread offense. They've got a great quarterback, though, in their their sophomore quarterback, Bohannon. He comes in, has passed for over 1,000 yards, averages about 132 yards passing per game. Still has some, he's also the second leading rusher on the team. So got a dual quarterback coming out of the backfield, passing and running the ball. And then has a couple adequate receivers that he'll throw to as well. So Shiloh's got to be aware of that on the defensive side. On the defensive side for Lake Hamilton, I think the key to them tonight is, can they stop a Shiloh offense that comes in averaging well over 40, 45 points per game. And, if you listen to us week in, week out, you just see this offense for the Saints is just clicking and getting better week in, week out. We got Griffin Mason came back 2 weeks ago with a couple runs, more of a Griffin Mason effort last week. And I'm sure we'll see more Griffin Mason on the ground. And then you've got the two senior receivers in Zane Slider and Chandler Kemp on the outside. One thing I'll say real quickly here, Cole Creighton, we'll talk about this when it happens in the game. He needs 46 yards passing to eclipse the 5,000-yard pass mark for his career. The past 2 seasons, Cole's been injured and hasn't played full seasons. So good to see him play a full season, and you really see what Cole can do from that quarterback position. He's passed for over 2,500 this season. Just needs 46 again to pass for 5,000. And then the two receivers I mentioned, Zane Slider, Chandler Kemp. Chandler Kemp needs 78 to eclipse 2,000 yards in his career. That's good enough for 7th all-time. You think about, and again for Cole also, all the great quarterbacks have come through Shiloh, all the great receivers who have come through Shiloh, and we're seeing some of the best right here this season on Friday nights, and we'll see them again tonight on display. Looking forward to that.
So the Saints will be kind of coming out where you see the cheerleaders are. The field house for the visitors is right there, and then you see the field house for Lake Hamilton is attached to their basketball arena, and they've got a video board at the top. Very nice setup. Here's the field's kind of sunken down in a hill, so it's kind of a cool setup here in Lake Hamilton to go through. Shiloh comes into this game currently sitting in second place in the 6A West, tied with Mountain Home at 4-1. Greenwood leads the conference at 5-0. But the big key right there is the Saints have the tiebreaker over Mountain Home. Van Buren's also 4-1, but a little bit skewed in the fact that Van Buren has got Mountain Home tonight at home, and they have to go to Shiloh next week. So they have only played one of the top 3 teams in the standings along with themselves. So right now, so for Van Buren, a little bit that. So the Saints going in this game, if they can win the next 2, Shiloh is guaranteed the 2 seed, as Cliff kind of mentioned in the pregame. That's important. It's a home playoff game. It's a bye week, and you're one upset away from being able to host the state semifinal before you go through. And also, Cliff, we can kind of dive into this as, again, the clock's a little bit later for kickoff. We're going to kick off about 7:05 here. But, Cliff, one thing that's interesting in the East, the way it sets up right now, probably the story of the year at Arkansas High School football, Sylvan Hills, 0-10 last year. They're sitting at 4-1 in the 6A East right now. The only other team that only has 1 loss is Benton, but they beat Benton at Benton earlier in the season. So Sylvan Hills 2 wins away from the 1 seed in the East, coming off a season where they were 0-10. But, Cliff, you kind of just look at the 6A East and how, possible matchups that you could get down the road. But if chalk holds, and there's a lot to say for that, but you could be looking at a trip to Sylvan Hills in the semifinals. But overall, the East really jumbled. You have 5 teams within 4-1 or 3-2 of each other.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, a strong conference, and I would say on paper, it looks to be a little stronger than the 6A West. 6A West is weighted really at the top with, I would say, 3 teams. You've got Greenwood, Shiloh, and Mountain Home have proven themselves this season, and you can even go back to last season, have proven themselves as really the cream of the crop of the 6A West. But, yeah, you talk about the change just in 1 year with the Sylvan Hills Bears of having an 0-10 season, but they got a new coach this year. They've got Coach Mark Kelly, who is a very proven coach and has won wherever he has been. He's at Sylvan Hills now, 0-10 to 7-1. And I watched a little bit of video last week just to kind of get a taste of Sylvan Hills and Benton and Jonesboro. And I'll tell you, man, those teams are pretty good. They are big. They're physical. They're athletic. It's a lot like what we saw with Benton last year. But, Shiloh went to Benton, won the game. Shiloh raised their bar and their physicality that night and played really, really well on the road. Now, I'd love to have these teams come to us in Northwest Arkansas. So we'll see how all that shakes out with other upsets and games and all of that. But, yeah, whoever plays as you mentioned, really the top 4 or 5 teams from the East, as they're all still jockeying for positions. When you get matched up with those teams in the playoffs, it's going to be a tough battle.
Yep, Saints in the white helmet tonight with the blue face mask, kind of I call it the LSU look with the SCS over the Saint head in the white jerseys and the blue pants. So the Saints will get ready for that. Blake Hamilton will come out from the end zone here in just a second to go through. But, yeah, in the 6A West tonight, there's one really critical game. Van Buren is hosting Mountain Home tonight. We're keeping an eye on that game. It'll have huge implications as far as the way seeding plays out to go through. And then you also, in the 6A West tonight, we have obviously the Saints here at Lake Hamilton. Southside goes to Greenwood. And then Russellville plays Siloam. So Russellville and Siloam, one of those teams is going to get the first conference win of the season. And so in the long drive down here, Cliff, we passed the Russellville buses headed to Siloam going through. So we were going one way, they were going another. But one of those 2 teams, Russellville or Siloam, will get their first win of the season tonight. But for Shiloh here tonight, Cliff, it's about obviously winning every week, but you control your destiny to the 2 seed. You can't really control 1. You need some help from Mountain Home or Southside, but you can control the 2. You got to take care of business tonight.
Absolutely. It's in Shiloh's hands, and, again, they have really been playing well the past several weeks. Defense has played great. Offensive line and all the line play, defensive side has played great. Special teams has been great. We've gotten some turnovers, and then obviously offense is kind of the bell cow for the Shiloh Saint football program through the years. That offense is operating at a very high level. And so I expect to see another great effort from our boys tonight and take care of business. And then we look towards senior week, senior night next Friday night against Van Buren. And you're right. I mean, we'll be watching that Mountain Home Van Buren score. Both those teams 4-1 in conference and really trying to put their stake in the ground of where they are in the conference race. Very important for Van Buren. They're 4-1, like I said. Got Mountain Home tonight. Boy, if they could pull off an upset there and beat Mountain Home, go 5-1 in conference, and you got Shiloh next week. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how good the Pointers are tonight and next week, playing the 2 teams really above them in conference. And then, like you said, Greenwood playing Southside tonight. We'll see how that goes. But let's take care of business tonight here if you're the Saints.
Saints won the toss, deferred to the second half. Lake Hamilton is going to get the ball first. So Shiloh's kind of trying to get taking the football in the second half, have a little bit of advantage there. So we saw this kind of play out in the Lake Hamilton-Greenwood game a couple weeks ago. And so, Cliff, one thing you have to be careful with Lake Hamilton a little bit. They ate off almost 8 minutes of a drive against Greenwood, wound up with a field goal in the first quarter, but they want to control the clock. They want to control the game. They obviously have had some struggles in their defensive secondary, so they want to keep the game kind of short if you can. We talked about, how Siloam wanted to take the ball out, take the air out of the ball. That's a little bit what Lake Hamilton wants to do. They want these long drives as you'll see a transition, and you'll see a lot of H-back, a lot of fullback, a little wide receivers in bunches. So you'll see some different looks and formation out of the Wolves as they go through. So number 5, Jace Bohannon, is a quarterback for Lake Hamilton. He took over for Hudson Davenport, who kind of ran the kind of wing tee that you used to see out of Lake Hamilton. But Bohannon's a quarterback, and then also at running back, you'll see a lot of number 1 is here. Come the Saints onto the field from the west side, and then Lake Hamilton will do the same from the east. So both stands will get up, cheer, and we got fireworks right behind our head as we go through. But key players for Lake Hamilton to be quarterback, number 5, Jace Hamilton. Then at running back, you'll see number 1, Coy Autry. And then another player they'll kind of feature out there is number 16, Hunter Edgman. And then probably their best player, just a sophomore, number 0, running back, J.J. Johnson. Cliff, I got a real good one for you. So Mississippi State and Arkansas play football tomorrow.
I was wondering how long it was going to take before you brought that up, Billy.
The running back at Mississippi State when I was a student there was J.J. Johnson. So when I was watching film, I was like, well, that is really ironic that the week State and Arkansas play, the running back is J.J. Johnson. So I hope this J.J. Johnson has a rough night because his peer who the SEC was really good. So, but hey, the good thing, Cliff, either the Razorbacks or the Bulldogs, one has to win by rule tomorrow. So it'll be
a couple
rough.
years ago, I think it was. Well, no, maybe it was last year that Arkansas beat Mississippi State. Was it 7-3?
State won 7-3 2 years ago here, and then Arkansas just blew them out last year in
So I'm
Starkville.
thinking 2 years ago, yeah, just a game 7-3. Just
It's ugly.
Not a good game, even though the Mississippi State won that game, right?
Yep,
So,
State
yeah.
won that one.
I think that's our last game to win in the SEC, right?
That was their last conference win.
Wow.
They have on 0-14 since.
So I know it's not a huge game tomorrow, but in Fayetteville, but for those two programs, it kind of is. I mean, you've got Arkansas that's already fired their coach. You've got a new coach that's really brought some new enthusiasm at Mississippi State with Jeff Levy and trying to turn things around there. They just haven't done it yet. I mean, they had a lead last week at Texas, right?
Yeah,
and
had a
kinda let it slip
17-point
away.
lead and let it go away. So Aiden Eastwood's going to kick it off. And we are underway from Lake Hamilton. There's the kick. It's going to be, hits the 20, stays in bounds. Oh, great roll right there for the Saints. To the 6, to the 5, and Brody Francis throws him down at the 4-yard line. What a great start as the aforementioned J.J. Johnson on the return right there for Lake Hamilton. So an unfortunate break for the Wolves as the ball stayed in bounds on the kickoff. It didn't go out of bounds. Lake Hamilton had to pick it up. And then to get it, now they're going to start at their own 7-yard line. Pretty good forward progress there that they gave Lake Hamilton. Again, number 0, J.J. Johnson, really the player you want to watch. Number 5, Jace Bohannon, the quarterback. He can throw the ball pretty well. So you'll see Lake Hamilton throw it a little bit more. We got an immediate flag. Saints may have jumped off sides. Let's see.
Yeah, you talk about quarterback Jace Bohannon, just a sophomore last week, even though it was a 42-7 loss at Mountain Home. He had 34 pass attempts, completed 21 for 168 yards, also rushed 10 times for 70 yards. So Saint defense needs to keep their eye on the quarterback, Bohannon.
Well, we had officials change their mind. Initially, they called the Saints for offside. The scoreboard went to 1st and 5, and then another official came in and said, nope, Lake Hamilton moved first. So the Wolves will be backed up half the distance. Bohannon throws out of his own end zone, high and incomplete on a crossing route at the 7-yard line. That was intended for number 12, Hudson Davenport. Davenport was the quarterback of the team last year, moved to receiver this year as they've changed the offense around a little bit, as we mentioned at pregame. So 2nd down. It's still only 2nd and 13 after the penalty because Lake Hamilton had the half a distance to the goal. They'll go 3 receivers to the right, empty backfield again on this 2nd down play. Now they look at their wristband for whatever play that they want. As Bohannon will change the call. Just underway, 11:52 to go, first quarter. Bohannon's going to run the quarterback keeper. He's in trouble in the backfield and push backwards. Saints are screaming it's a safety, but they're going to give him forward progress out to the 2. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and long, but great job by the defensive line, Cliff.
Absolutely. Great push there on the line, just blowing up the play, blowing up Bohannon in the backfield. That's what you like to see out of the defense, is get penetration early in the backfield. Put pressure on that quarterback.
Well, Lake Hamilton with 3rd down and long, they're at their own 2-yard line. So the Saints have had a great start with the special teams, and then it's carried over defensively. So it's going to be a shotgun formation. Bohannon empty again. Back to pass. Blitz coming. Throws a screen out of his own end zone. It's caught by Johnson at the 10, 15, 20. And he's knocked out of bounds around the 20-yard line, but he's got plenty for the 1st down. And Lake Hamilton runs a screen to Johnson, and he gets the 1st down. So the Wolves do a good job with the play calling there. They get it out to the 20, and so, boy, tough, Cliff. You had them backed up about to punt out of their own end zone to start the game, but they got away.
Yeah, good third down completion there by the Wolves, getting away from their goal line at the Saints on the first couple of plays. Just, like I said, getting in the backfield, putting pressure on Bohannon. He's able to get his receiver and pick up the first down.
So they'll send the man in motion. Bohannon back to pass. Chasing at his own 2-yard line. He's in trouble. Now he throws it away. He did not get it back to the line of scrimmage, so I feel pretty confident. Oh, wow, they're going to say number 0 was in the area.
Well, I think, a flag was dropped there, so we'll see what the call is, but I think it's going to be intentional grounding. But he was also hit up high also, so we'll see what the call is.
And so it is intentional grounding against Lake Hamilton. They kind of threw us off a little bit, Cliff, because the official who was on the near sideline immediately pointed number 0 for Lake Hamilton, saying he was in the area. Now, if you don't know the rule on that, if the quarterback is outside of the pocket, which is the tackle-to-tackle area, he can throw it out of bounds as long as he gets it past the line of scrimmage, which Bohannon did not really come close to doing right there. So Lake Hamilton backed up at their own 2-yard line. Empty set again. Wolves going to fire a quick out. It's going to be caught at the 10 and then pushed out of bounds around the 15-yard line. That's going to be 16 Hunter Edgman with a catch, but nowhere near the first down marker. And it's going to be still 3rd down and long for the Wolves to go through. So far, Cliff, other than one play, St. defense been a dominant.
I know, another 3rd and long here for the Wolves, and this St. defense on the previous 3rd down play gave up a big first down, kept the drive going. St. defense need to clamp down here, continue to get pressure in the backfield, disrupt quarterback Bohannon.
Bohannon back to pass. He's going to throw it deep down the middle of the field toward Johnson, and did he catch it? Yeah, he did at the 35. Great catch by Johnson. He may have, the play is away from our camera, but I felt like live he one-handed that catch over the middle at the 35. So twice on 3rd and long, Johnson's been able to make a big-time catch for the Wolves. Bohannon took a shot, and he is just now back up to the 20-yard line. He was kind of woozy getting up from that, so they kind of lofted it out there but made the play. So now we'll have to see if Lake Hamilton can kind of get the play off a little bit as their quarterback. Well, the official just reset the 25-second clock for him, so
yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but the St. defense giving up 2 3rd and longs. I know it's a 4-quarter game, and you keep putting pressure on Bohannon, keep hitting him, keep putting the pressure on him, but, man, you don't want to do that and keep drives going, giving up 3rd and longs over and over.
Play clock's at 4, and we got a whistle, and I think Lake Hamilton's left tackle moved. And it will be a false start against the Wolves to go through. So, Cliff, I'm still trying to figure out why they reset the play clock for them. They would have definitely had to delay a game without the reset. They almost had to delay a game with the reset. Then they false started with 2 on the clock. So Lake Hamilton, even though they're at their own 30-yard line, have been going backwards for almost the entire game except for 2 plays where they keep getting long 3rd down conversions to kind of get themselves out of the hole. So at the 30-yard line, and again, we talk about they want to eat time off the clock. They've done about 2.5 minutes on the early game. The first run of the game for the Wolves, that is a running play that's not the quarterback, is going to go up the middle for about 4. So you'll see a little bit. That's number 1, Coy Autry. They'll kind of use number 0 and number 1 primarily in the backfield. Number 14's been injured for them, but he is out there tonight, so you'll see a little bit of him in the backfield as well. So 2nd down, not much gain on that play. 2nd and 12 for the Wolves at their own 32-yard line. Saints showing a 4-man front, showing blitz. Now they're going to stand up. Quarterback back to pass. He's in trouble in the backfield, gets away to the 20, looks down the field. He's got 1 receiver sort of down here, and the pass is intercepted at the 42-yard line as the Saints are going to pick it off. They do. Oh, he said it was incomplete. He was out of bounds. Took a long time for that call to be made. Saint sideline was pretty confident it was a catch, but it's going to go as an incompletion, and 3rd down coming up. Tucker Barnard all over the official right there on that sideline. He thought it was a catch too, but either way, 3rd down. Well, Cliff, 2 long 3rd down conversions for the Wolves. Got to get off the field this time.
Yeah, you do, and again, just keep pressure on the quarterback, but our secondary safety Got to know where the receivers are, not let them run easy routes, make easy catches.
Quarterback's going to run the screen this way. They had some success with that earlier. This time it's way too high and incomplete. That was intended for Autry, who's kind of their other big play player. So 4th and 12 for Lake Hamilton, and they will punt. Cohen Beach will run back deep. So that time the Saints got it. Lake Hamilton tried to go back to the play again. Cliff, they ran earlier the screen. This time just didn't connect on it. Saints covered that one much better.
Yeah, they really did, and then the quarterback just didn't make a good screen play there. But forces Lake Hamilton, it looks like, to punt here. Saint defense all night long need to be prepared for fakes.
Bad snap. Kick is nearly blocked. I really don't know how I got it off, to be honest. It's hit to the 44. Takes an amazing roll inside the 30. Still rolling. And thankfully, a Lake Hamilton player picked it up while the ball was still rolling at the 28-yard line. It's a great punt. Boy, the Saints nearly blocked the punt. Let's see. The head official has thrown a flag in the middle of the field. I'm not sure what's going on here. Well, we're kind of waiting on the penalty. So the head official ran down the field blowing his whistle and threw a flag at the 47, but there's really nobody either side.
Well,
so
you've got the side official over here talking to Coach Barnard, and I can't tell if.
Okay, so he's telling the flag's going to be on Lake Hamilton. Coach Barnard's got a choice. He can make him re-kick it, which I think that's what he'll do, or he can take the penalty added on from the end of the return. And so Coach Tucker Barnard's an eligible man downfield. So that's I don't know if I've ever seen that on a punt, but whatever. We'll back him up and redo it again. So, but Cliff, I really like what Coach Tucker Barnard did right there. They had a great punt, but it nearly got blocked. Make them do it again. And you had a coverage team who just ran down 50 yards down the field. Now they got to do it again. Sets up, you make a mistake, you
Absolutely.
get a return.
No, that's a smart play there. I just think it's interesting that the official from behind the punt ran 30 yards and then dropped his flag versus dropping it back at the 20 or 30. Or I don't know. It was an interesting call, but Lake Hamilton, boy, they're always around their goal line on this drive here. And they get up to about the 30 and they back themselves up again.
Lake Hamilton will punt it out of the end zone. Saints don't really rush this one. It's a good kick, going to go over Beach's head at the 50, takes another good roll. This one kicks out of bounds a little bit. Saints will gain about maybe 5-10 yards of field position out of that. So good job by the coaching staff of getting some extra yards. Officially at the 41s where they'll mark it out of bounds, but Lake Hamilton with some good rolls on the punt. But Saint defense with a really good job early in this game as they kept Lake Hamilton pinned back. And now they'll get their offense on the field for the first time at the 41-yard line. So, Cliff, an update from that Mountain Home Van Buren game. Mountain Home leads 8-0, 7:13 to go in the first half. We'll keep an eye on that one, as obviously that one's big for standings, and we play Van Buren next week as well. Cole Creighton will kind of shift his offense, and he'll send Griffin Mason out to the left in a slot. So, Saints will go empty. Blitz coming on the right side. Screenplay coming this way. It's incomplete, intended for Slaughter on the screen to the left. And so, Cliff, one thing we didn't talk about in the pregame show, defensively, Lake Hamilton looks a lot like Shiloh. They're going to run a lot of the same concepts, but their blitz percentage is in the 90%. So it's an aggressive defense, to say the least. They're going to come after you with all they got. Well, Saints fall started right there.
And you see the defense for Lake Hamilton kind of mirroring the Shiloh defense, standing up, just trying to put pressure on the offensive line. You saw it right there where Shiloh jumped early.
So the Saints kind of mirroring Lake Hamilton, going the wrong way. Is it 2nd down and 15?
I mean, look how far off the ball they are. I mean, we've seen Shiloh do this. Now we're seeing Lake Hamilton.
Hey, here's a blitz. It's caught to the 35, to the 40. Charlie's to the 45, gets a call, 50, 45, 40. There's one man, Johnson, with an angle on him at the 20. He cuts back inside the 10. He cuts inside of the 5. Touchdown, Shiloh. Johnson couldn't get him on the ground as the sophomore running back, Charlie Krell, takes it to the house. 8:32 to go in the first quarter. It's going to be a 64-yard touchdown pass from Cole Creighton to Charlie. And, hey, Cole needed 46 yards, Cliff. We got it on the first pass.
Absolutely. Congrats to Cole Creighton. He probably doesn't know where he stands and all that. That's just for us to know and let you as fans know. But on that 64-yard touchdown pass completion to Charlie Kroll. Cole Creighton, the junior quarterback, just surpassed 5,000 passing yards in his career. That is 8th all-time. Again, you think about the Rhett Lashleys, the Kyle Frazier's, the Josh Floyds, the Eli Wisdoms, the Reese brothers, all those great quarterbacks through the years. And Cole Creighton putting his name up there amongst some of the greats that have come through Shiloh Christian School.
So Aiden Eastwood tacks on the extra point. 8 minutes and 32 seconds to go in the first quarter, as we'll see the replay. So Saint offense said, hey, you're going to blitz. We're just going to dump it out in the flat real quick and get you up in a great block right out there in the middle of the field. I think that was Maddox Welburn. And then Charlie did a good job of cutting back, using his blockers to get into the end zone. Saints get a quick touchdown, 7-0, with 8:32 to go here in the first quarter. While we've got a few seconds, a couple of sponsors of Shiloh Christian Football. In 2025, legendary level sponsors, Geosurfaces, Roush Companies, Mr. Sparky, and the Frame family. Elite level sponsors, Bassett Home Furnishings, Bowen Kemp Construction, Chick-fil-A Springdale, and then our champion level sponsors will give us our play of the game later, Prism Pool and Outdoors. So Saints will kick it off from their own 40 after the touchdown and lead at 7-0. Johnson's going to get it at the 20, straight up the field, 25, cuts inside 30. He's got a hole. 35-40, cuts outside the 45, and he's going to be spun down from behind at the 47-yard line. So good return right there by Johnson. He was finally thrown to the ground by number 8, Beckham Floyd. So Beckham probably saved a touchdown right there early in this game. But Lake Hamilton with great field position after starting with poor field position early. Officials trying to spot the football, but I think it's going to be around the 48, 49-yard line, 1st and 10 for Lake Hamilton. Quarterback's in trouble, rolling to his right, still in trouble. Brody Francis hits him. He fumbles the football, and the Saints have it. He may have gotten it back. Well, the Saints nearly had it, and it kind of bobbled out of his hand, although Max Eldridge comes up with the football, but they give it back and say Bohannon recovered it. So a strange play right there, and Cliff Bohannon is injured, I think, because he's taking his helmet off to try to readjust it. But got to give the Saint defensive line credit. Every time Bohannon's gone back to pass, Cliff, he's been in big trouble.
Well, and Bohannon's rolling to his right every time. I guess coaches feel like that's just a more comfortable, natural position for a right-handed quarterback to roll to the right, but great coverage downfield. Bohannon not able to find anybody, just trying to make something happen. But Saint defense all over him, chasing him out of the pocket. Man, had a great opportunity there to recover a fumble.
Well, there's a false start on the right tackle of Lake Hamilton. Saint defensive line shifted, and the right tackle shifted with them, so the false start will back up Lake Hamilton even more. They were already at 2nd and 21, now 2nd and 26.
Already the 5th penalty here in the first quarter for Lake Hamilton. Just way too many penalties. Just shooting themselves in the foot early here in this game.
So Bohannon and company trying to get it going on offense right now. A lot of penalties, a lot of negative yardage plays as Saint defensive line getting them. So officially we'll credit Brody Francis with the sack out there on the first play right there. Quarterback back to pass. Big pressure, fires over the middle. It's bobbled and incomplete at the 35-yard line. And he was trying to hit number 4, DJ Wilson, out of the backfield, incomplete. So Lake Hamilton, we've kind of talked about how they mirrored the Saints on defense. They tried to mirror the Saints with play calling against the blitz, just threw the little back out of the backfield, incomplete. So 3rd down and long. And so right here, Cliff, discipline. Just even if they catch it, just keep them in front of you, make the tackle, get off the field, and see if you can go score.
I mean, you're 3rd and 26 here, so really long and tough 3rd down opportunity for the Wolves, but like you said, an opportunity for the Saint defense as they've got all 11 guys on the line just showing pressure.
They'll send Wilson in motion. Bohannon's back to pass. He has some time this time. Now he's going to get a little pressure. He's going to run, and he's hit hard at the 36-yard line. So the Saints got him from the front. They got him from the back. And then he's going to be down at the 36. So it's going to be 4th down and long for Lake Hamilton as they'll have to punt. Great job by the defense. And also, Cliff, that's kind of a coverage sack. Bohannon actually, for the first time tonight, had time, but it had nobody open down the field.
Absolutely. Great job by the secondary. Brings up another punting situation for the Wolves. Saints have 10 on the line coming after this punter again, trying to get a block.
Yeah, you can see the Lake Hamilton players all pointing like,
I got him.
you can see Saints are going to come after this. They nearly blocked the first punt of the game. There's a snap. Kick is away. He goes straight up in the air. He got it off, but he barely got it off. It takes a Saint bounce out of bounds around the midfield stripe. There's a flag down at the 36-yard line. There is a player for Lake Hamilton who has no helmet at the 31. So,
well, Weston Huckabee for Shiloh, and it looks like number 7 there for Lake Hamilton. That would be Latrell Croxley. I can't read it there, but penalty may be on Shiloh after the punt occurred. So Shiloh will have good field position, but I think they're going to be backed up 15.
Well, it's a personal foul face mask, so they're going to mark that up. But, again, it is after the play. So back at the own 35, the Saints will take over there on offense with 6:25 to go here in the first quarter. Saints scored on their first possession, a long pass to Charlie Krell for the touchdown. So we've had some interesting kicking game penalties, of face mask and an eligible man downfield on a punt. So been interesting there. Saints trying to make the offense interesting. Cole back to pass, fires down the left side, got up Griffin Mason at the 40. Griffin runs over a man at the 35 to the 30 and 25, and he's finally shoved out of bounds there. And there's a defender, number 4 for Lake Hamilton, DJ Wilson, to play some offense. And, boy, he's kind of wishing he didn't play defense right now, as he took Griffin Mason one-on-one out here, and Griff just rolls him over. Big chunk play for the Saints of 38 yards and a first down. Kemp in motion. Pass out to Kemp is in the flat, and he's going to be, he breaks a tackle, the 25 to the 20. Good job by Chandler. They had him in the backfield but couldn't get him on the ground. So down to the 20, gain of 7 for the Saints. Second down and 3 for Shiloh. Saints doing what they want to do, going real fast on offense. Trips to the left with actually H-back to the left as well. Cole files bubble out here, caught by Slider to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Stiff arm, he's in the end zone. Touchdown, Shiloh. Yeah, Slider got open. He got the stiff arm on the one defender he needed to beat and got him in the end zone. And Shiloh with their second touchdown of the night. 13 to zip Saints. 5:45 to go in the first quarter.
Great job of just controlling the tempo offensively. I mean, we see it week in and week out by the Saint offensive unit. Starts up front with the linemen. They're doing a great job of holding their blocks, snapping the ball well, letting Cole get a good snap, receivers run their routes, and then just put it in your playmakers' hands. And you saw Griffin Mason on a run there. You saw Chandler Kemp on a reception, and then Zane Slider takes it in on the final 20 yards for the Saints' second score of the night.
Well, here's a replay as the Saints get, as Cliff mentioned, the second score of the night. Is Cole Creighton hits Slider on the bubble. Good blocks by the receivers. And then goes here. So while we got a second, we'll take a timeout. Saints lead 14-0. You're watching Shiloh Christian football.
Serving multiple cities in 9 different states. We are proud to call Northwest Arkansas our home and the Shiloh Saints our team. Mr. Sparky, Northwest Arkansas's favorite electrician. Shiloh Saints. Let's go!
So 5:45 to go in the first quarter. Saints off to a good start. They leave Lake Hamilton 14-0 as Aiden Eastwood will get ready to kick it off. Aiden with a high kick angled this way. They're going to take it at the 15, up the field to the 20, cuts inside the 25. Boy, nearly lost the football. And then out of bounds at the 27 is Wilson. So 1st and 10 from the 27 is where the Wolves will take over. 5:38 to go in the first quarter. We told you we'd keep you updated on that Mountain Home and Van Buren game. That game's late in the first quarter, and Mountain Home still leads that one 8-0. That game's at Van Buren. So if the Pointers were to win that game next week, then basically the Saints and Pointers would play each other for the 2 seed, barring a big upset of Mountain Home beating Greenwood. Back to the pass. Bohannon fires over the middle. It's going to be caught at the 30 and then taken down at the 32 is the aforementioned Wilson. So first play of the offensive possession there for Lake Hamilton's actually gone positive for the Wolves. So they get 4, so second down and 6. 2nd and 6. Wolves with trips to the right. Back to pass Bohannon, under pressure again. He fires, it's caught at the 38, breaks one tackle, and then he spun to the 40, and then he's going to be taken off his feet at the 42. So Saints had a lot of white jerseys in the area, but he got away from the first one initially, but not the second one. So first down for Lake Hamilton as the Wolves are getting they're really the first somewhat positive plays to start the series.
In number 24, who caught the pass, Tyree Scott, limping off the field after that tackle. So the Saint defense just picking up where they left off last week against Siloam Springs, just pounding the offense from the defensive side.
1st and 10, Lake Hamilton at the 42. As Cliff mentioned, Saint defensive line, especially in this game, been very physical with Lake Hamilton. Quarterback's going to run, and down he goes at the line of scrimmage, and off his helmet goes. He gets slammed to the ground, so they'll have to go to the backup quarterback. As you can see, Bohannon loses his helmet right there. You would assume it would be Davenport. We'll see.
Yeah, and you saw Bohannon get up, and he's got to make sure the hair's right. You know, you said, I'm kind of parted over a little bit, got to look good. But, yes, Bohannon has been hit a lot and hit hard here in this first quarter. So he's slowly getting off the field, take a little breather.
Yeah, I think he was kind of hoping he could get the helmet on quick and maybe nobody would notice, but when it goes rolling down the middle of the field, hard to hide that one a little bit. Saint defensive line just super aggressive early in this game. Quarterback fires out in the flat. It's caught at the 40, straight up the field to the 45, and then down at the 47-yard line. So it's going to be a pickup of 5 for the Wolves and a manageable 3rd down and 5 for Lake Hamilton. As you'll see, the quarterback Bohannon come back in the game, I would suspect, here on this 3rd down play. He's back in the huddle. So 3rd down coming up.
So far on 3rd downs in this first quarter, Lake Hamilton 2 for 3. Had 2 big 3rd down completions.
Bohannon back to pass, in trouble in the backfield. He's hit, and he throws it away. This will be grounding again as he doesn't have a receiver anywhere in the area. And there's the flag for intentional grounding. So Bohannon, he was going to get sacked by Brody Francis, it looked like, again, just turned and chunked it away. So it's a loss of down with the intentional grounding. 2nd one the Saint defense has caused already, Cliff.
I know. I mean, again, the Saint defense getting major pressure in the backfield, just flushing Bohannon out of the pocket. And I understand Bohannon's trying to make something happen, but, I mean, he's just throwing the ball away, and there's no receivers near him. They're obvious intentional throws there. It's going to be a flag. But it brings up 4th and long now for the Wolves, and it looks like another punting situation.
So Lake Hamilton, again, kind of have to watch. It'd be 4th and long, be a difficult time to try a fake punt right here, but got to be alert. Down 14-0 already, and they're punting again. High kick. Beach is going to call for the actually, I think that might have been Silas Nance they put back that time. It is Silas. He's going to fair catch it around the 30-yard line. So kind of swapping out a little bit of Beach and Silas Nance. Silas does his job, fair catches the ball at the 31-yard line. That's where Shiloh will take over. And so, Cliff, it's almost got a little chill in the air, almost basketball season. Silas, one of our really good basketball players for the Saints. So they'll start their season in a couple weeks as the boys go to Bentonville West to start the season. So Coach Bullington didn't find anybody soft on opening night for sure. Handoff for 1st down and to Griffin Mason. Griff to the 40. They just can't get him on the ground. Griff the 45, the 46, the 47. 3 red jerseys or maroon jerseys just getting dragged all the way up to the 37. Good run by Griffin, and it's a gain of 15 and a 1st down.
Yeah, great job there. If you're the defense for Lake Hamilton, you're trying to tackle Griffin Mason up high. Not going to happen.
Pitch to Chandler Kemp. Chandler to the 45, gets a block to midfield, and it's going to be taken down at the 49-yard line. It's actually officially a pass as he kind of popped it forward. So pick up about, we'll give him 4, 2nd down and 6, as Kemp is really close right there of a kind of a handoff pitch, but we'll call it a pitch forward there. Back to pass, Cole. Man, wide open Beach, 25-20, 15-10, 5 end zone, touchdown Shiloh. Saints with their 3rd offensive possession, their 3rd touchdown, 49 yards from Cole Creighton to Beach, and a bust in the secondary for Lake Hamilton as Beach was running down the middle of the field wide open. So 2:11 to go in the first quarter. Saints have popped out to a 20-0 lead over the Wolves. That's something Lake Hamilton really struggled with against Greenwood. Defenders were constantly seeing Greenwood receivers get behind them. Saints have been able to burn them in the passing game here. Aiden Eastwood on for the extra point. Snap is down, hold is good, kick is up, and the kick is good. So 2:11 to go in the first quarter. It's all Saints so far with 21-zip lead over Lake Hamilton as we see the replay of Cole's pass to Cohen Beach for the touchdown.
Yeah, Cohen just wide open as you saw there. No one in protection in the middle of the field. Not sure where the linebackers were. Saint offense has them all spread out. And then Cole just makes a perfect pass, leads his receiver, Cohen Beach, 49 yards into the end zone for the third score of the night. So you've had Lake Hamilton have 3 possessions, 3 drives so far tonight, 3 punts. Shiloh 3 drives, 3 scores. And get this, Billy, all 3 scores combined. Time of possession for the Saints, 1 minute and 51 seconds. I mean, they can score
in a hurry.
Very, very quickly. 1 minute and 51 seconds to put 21 points on the board.
So Saints with 21, as Cliff mentioned, zip with 2:11 to go in the first quarter. Eastwood's going to do that sky kick again. It's going to be taken at the 15. Johnson to the 20, 25-30 to the 35, and he's going to be taken down at the 38-yard line. So the sophomore, obviously one of the more explosive players for Lake Hamilton, a good return there out to the 38. Gets a little bit better field position for the Wolves than they had on the first 2 drives, but as Cliff mentioned, all 3 drops for Lake Hamilton so far have ended in punts. And, you know, Cliff, you talk about the history of Arkansas high school football, and you think about Lake Hamilton, kind of a ground team that just really wanted to run the wing tee. Boy, to see these guys in empty backfields, really interesting for sure. Trips to the right, running back there, back to pass. Bohannon has good protection this time. Now the pocket breaks down. He's going to take off and run. He fumbles the football. It's loose on the ground, and I think Lake Hamilton may have fallen back on it. One of the offensive linemen at the 31-yard line was able to fall back on it. So really fun to watch Coach Holly on the sidelines. He wanted that fumble. He's like, his defense caused one. They just couldn't fall on it. So really the second time tonight Lake Hamilton's fumbled. They've gotten it back both times, but again, just like the whole game has been, second down and long for Lake Hamilton. Another first down play that lose yards. They're back to their own 31 here. There's going to be the run to the right side to the 30, to the 33, 34-yard line. Pretty good job by the defensive line of kind of pushing that play out to the back. So it's going to be third down and long for Lake Hamilton, as Xander Hernandez is going to have to come off as his helmet came off on that play. So Saints will run in an extra defensive lineman on 3rd and 13 for Lake Hamilton. Saint defense has kind of got their normal look here. We'll see what Lake Hamilton elects to do. They're going to keep a back in the backfield. I think that may be some of their adjustment to the pressure the Saint defense have given in the empty look so far. Shiloh showing blitz with Max Eldridge off the right side of Lake Hamilton. Max drops into coverage. Quarterback throws that way. It's tipped incomplete, nearly intercepted by Corbin right there at the 47-yard line. So pass goes incomplete. So Saints tried a little trick right there. They dropped Eldridge. It looked like they were going to blitz, dropped him into coverage, and to see if they could kind of sneak him into throwing the pass right to him, and it goes high and incomplete. So 4th down, Beach back for deep to receive the punt at the 37, but another good job, Cliff, get them off the field.
Absolutely. Defense playing great here in this first quarter. They've been so close to blocking a couple of punts. We'll see if they can get to the punter this time.
They'll send
a little more protection, it looks like, here by Lake Hamilton.
Saints, oh, boy, they nearly got it again. Kicker goes down. Beach catches it at the 40 to the 40-yard lines, running lateral, gets a block. That'll probably be a flag, and it will be for a block in the back as Beach gets taken out of bounds at the 42-yard line. So Shiloh's trying to give Beach a little protection to give him to the edge, and they'll wind up going backwards with the flags you see right there on the 40-yard line. So I think they'll get Zach Rowe for that penalty going down. But, yeah, Cliff, you saw an adjustment. The Saints have got such heavy pressure. They moved the wide receiver in to help block. Saints still got a lot of pressure and nearly blocked it.
And you see we don't have a mic on the official tonight, so we'll say what it is. But great job by our camera crew just zooming in. You can see the call being made, blocking the back on Shiloh, so that'll back Shiloh up. And probably this will probably tie their worst starting field position tonight at their own 31.
At the 34-second mark, Saints will start at the 31. So, although it's taken a minute and 51 seconds, as Cliff mentioned, in 3 drives to score 3 touchdowns. So, 34 seconds in the quarter isn't a big deal the way this offense has functioned so far. Cole back to pass, man coming, screen this way. He's caught by Beach at the 35 to the 40, going to the 45 up the middle, and he's going to be taken down in Lake Hamilton territory at the 49-yard line. 25 seconds left to go in the quarter. Clock will stop as the chain game for Lake Hamilton is running down the sidelines trying to keep up with this Saint offense. At the 49-yard line, Saints will go trips to the left as the clock gets rolling. Will probably be the final play of the first quarter. They'll empty the backfield as Charlie will go in motion across the way for Cole. He'll get set on the right. Back to pass is Cole. Has time, steps up in the pocket, fires an out route, caught by Slaughter at the 35, and then he's finally pushed out of bounds there as the first quarter clock ends. And so the Saints will start quarter number 2 at the Lake Hamilton 35-yard line with a first down and a 21-0 lead. You see Coach Tucker Barnett talking to his guys, really happy with the execution as we go through in this game. While we've got a moment, we'll talk about some sponsors of 2025 Shiloh Christian Saint football, our champion-level sponsors this year. As we begin Prison Pools and Outdoors for our play of the game, Fire Bin, Arvest, Reliable Poultry, Quality Millwork, Advanced Primary Care, Roush Companies, Ty King DDS, Harps Food Stores, Stubb Center for Cosmetic Surgery, Fastlane Entertainment, C.R. Crawford Construction, Smith & Davis Orthodontics, Osage Air, Wright's Barbecue, Bacchus Concrete, Midland Industrial Services, Prestige Hormone Health and Wellness, Arkansas Children's Northwest, our Super Saint level sponsors, Family Legacy Planning, PRZ CPA and Advisors, Sims and Renner Insurance, Burn Boot Camp of Fayetteville and Springdale, the Goldfish Swim School, Cadis, Rogers Insurance, ANKR, Black Hive Corporation, Body Balance, First National Bank, Retriever Academy, AR Care, Elite Masonry, Starwood Customs, Teamwork Core Value Signs by the Creighton Family, Colonial Hill Landscape, Eclipse Construction, Daisy Outdoor Products, Jetson Company, Williams Tractor, TRS Healthcare, Paint Innovators Incorporated, and Impressions Online Boutique. 1st and 10 Saints to start quarter number 2 at the 35-yard line of Lake Hamilton. Blitz coming. Cole fires it out in the flat, complete by Slider to the 30, cuts inside to the 25, down the sideline, and he's finally thrown out of bounds at the 23-yard line, but that will be a gain of, 12 and a first down for the Saints as they'll move that. You see a little haze and smoke on your TV screen from the fireworks they shot off in between quarters. They haven't been able to shoot off any for their offense so far. It's been all Saints. Cole's going to run this way to the right, gets a good block. Cole to the 15, he's to the 10, 5 touchdown. Oh, here comes 2 flags from the side, and they'll get the Saints probably for a hold or a block in the back. One of the two. You see us Camber guy zooming in on our flag right there. Good blocking there for Cole, but we just had a late penalty, and it will be a hold on the Saints at the 20. Now, see, the flag is at the 12, so if they back it up to the 22, it's going to be 1st and 9. So we'll see if that's what the spot is. They're going to put it at the 21, so you're going to wind up with a 1st down and 8 after the penalty, as it's marked off 10 yards from the spot that had happened down the field. So not something you see very often, a 1st and 8, but that's where the Saints have it at the 21. Griffin empties the backfield. Cole throws out there to him. Griffin's to the 20, cuts inside to the 15. Griffin's to the 10, and he's going to be taken out of bounds right there. It will be enough for the 1st down. Let's see if they mark him at the 11 or the 10, if the Saints can get another 1st down, or if it's 1st and goal here. It's at the 11. So a gain of 10 and a 1st down for Shiloh at the 11. Griffin going to get the handoff. He's to the 10. He's going to plow forward here as he gets down to the 9. 2-yard pickup for Mason on that carry there. 2nd down and 9 for the Saints at the 9-yard. Well, at the 2nd down and 8 at the 9 of Lake Hamilton.
You know, the first quarter for Shiloh's offense, Billy, really dominated through the air. We start the second quarter trying to pound them on the ground here.
Cole's going to roll right, has time. Now it kind of breaks down. Cole's going to cut back this way to the 10, throws in the corner of the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown Shiloh in the corner of the end zone. Good job by Creighton. He had a little pressure at the very last second. He was able to roll out, and he had Chandler Kemp in the corner of the end zone. So Chandler with a touchdown pass from Cole, and the Saints with a 4th touchdown and as many drives with 10:47 to go here in quarter number 2, and it's 27-0 as Eastwood will attempt the extra point. Low snap, but the extra point by Eastwood is good. We'll see our replay here of the Saints' 4th touchdown of the night. Cole Creighton getting loose here. Got a little pressure from the middle line of Lake Hamilton, but he kind of rolled out, kept his eyes up, fired in the back of the end zone, and then Chandler Kemp high-pointed it and did a great job of catching the touchdown. Saints lead 28-zip, 10:47 to go here in the first half. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Shiloh Christian Football.
Roush Companies, improving quality of life, one community at a time.
Welcome back to Lake Hamilton. 4 drives, 4 touchdowns for the Saints as they lead at 28-0. As Aiden Eastwood will kick it off, it's going to be taken at the 22, the 25 to the 32. Spins away, good run to the 40, down the sideline to midfield. One man to knock him out of bounds, and Eastwood gets the job done. As Johnson's been a potent on kickoff returns for Lake Hamilton, really been the star of the game for them as he returns that to the Shiloh 43. So another good field position on the kickoff for Lake Hamilton. After the opening kickoff, they kind of struggled with that, but they've been much more effective as of late. So 44 is where they mark it. Best starting field position of the night for the Wolves. As you can correct me wrong, Cliff, I think they've only passed midfield once tonight.
I think you're right there, yeah. But that has been the one bright spot for Lake Hamilton here early in this game is the kickoff returns.
Well, Lake Hamilton's going to hand it off to Johnson. He's hit the backfield by Xander Gonzalez and thrown down. And so I was about to say pre-snap, Cliff, they went old school Lake Hamilton right there. 3 tight ends running back in the backfield. And the old school met the new school Saint defensive line. It's just been absolutely dominant.
They really have. But, I mean, when you come unblocked, I mean, the offensive line has to put bodies on guys. You've got to give your quarterback and running backs coming out of the backfield time, and they just have not been able to do that yet in this game.
Ball at midfield as Lake Hamilton is what they've done most of the night. 2nd and long. Bohannon under center, back to pass, throws it over the middle, and it's going to be intercepted at the 31-yard line as Silas Nance picked it off, just like getting a rebound he does in basketball. He sticks one right there with the interception. Silas with a pick, and the Saints are going to take over on downs at the 33-yard line. Replay coming right here, and so the Saint defense comes up with a pick over the middle as the quarterback lofted up, and Silas went and got it.
Yeah, great job, Silas, for just playing center field out there in the secondary. Ball underthrown by Bohannon, and it just not a strong, confident pass there from the quarterback to his receiver. And Silas Nance just reading his eyes, makes the jump and makes the pick.
So at the 33-yard line, Saint offense, four drives, 4 touchdowns, trying to go 5 for 5. Cole rolls this way. Pocket breaks down. He turns and completes it at the 40 to the 45 and up near midfield. Boy, really good job by Creighton. I thought he was just going to turn and chunk that one into the bleachers. And all of a sudden, at the last second, he found number 3 open down the sideline all the way out to midfield. So the Saints pick up 17 on that pickup from Creighton to Slider. Bubble screen this way, caught by Charlie. Midfield, trying to get outside to the 45. Great cut to the 42 to the 40. Charlie's going to pick up about 10 on that play. That was going to give the Saints another first down at midfield. Boy, really good job there by Charlie. They had some defenders there for Lake Hamilton. He just kind of kept cutting in, cutting back, and the sophomore running back, elusive right there. There's a snap. Charlie's going to get the handoff, breaks a tackle to the 40 to the 35, cuts inside to the 34. He picks up 6 on that carry. So Creel getting some really good snaps. As you can probably kind of see on your screen, the last tackle, they ripped Charlie's belt off. It's hanging all the way down to his shoes, but it hasn't slowed him down any at the 34-yard line. Cole hands it one more time to Creel to the 34, and he's going to plow forward for maybe, they'll officially say no gain. So 3rd down coming up. That's probably the best defensive play for Lake Hamilton of the evening as they got Charlie on the ground there. So the sophomore running back getting some carries and being effective right now. Empty backfield right here for the Saints as they'll go 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Bodenstein in the slot to the right. Back to pass. They're going to fire it this way. It's caught by Slaughter at the 30 to the 20. He spins his way down to the 18-yard line. Pickup of 16 for the Saints. And it's going to be another Shiloh first down. 8:26 to go in the quarter. So Cole had his pick of who he wanted right there. If he wanted receiver number 1 and Bodenstein in the slot or Slaughter to the edge. He got Slaughter and a first down. Saints will send Slaughter in motion across the formation. Cole's going to play action, fire it this way. Slaughter's hit at the 20. He's going to be mowed down and pushed backwards. So Kemp just couldn't quite get the block as the safety came up really quick right there. And Slaughter's going to lose, well, maybe they'll call it a gain of a yard. So generous yard there, but at the 19 they give him forward progress. So second down for Shiloh. Saints moving the ball quickly as with the 8-minute mark of quarter number 2. 4 drives, 4 touchdowns for the Saints, trying to cap it off with the 5th one right here in Lake Hamilton territory at the 19-yard line. Kemp's going to come in motion to the right. Cole back to pass. Screen coming left way to Charlie. He's got it at the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Straight up there, down the sideline. Touchdown Shiloh. Saints they overloaded the right. Threw back screen left. 5 drives, 5 touchdowns. 7:38 to go in the first quarter. And Shiloh pushes its lead to 34-0 with the extra point pending.
You know, Charlie Kroll earlier scored his first touchdown. We didn't really say that. His first touchdown by my count here at Shiloh with the 64-yard reception. Now Charlie with his second touchdown here in the first half of this game. So the sophomore running back having a great game here at Lake Hamilton tonight.
Aiden Eastwood puts the extra point through. 7:38 to go in the first half. It's all Shiloh, 35-0. As you'll see the replay coming right here as the screen pass to Corral for the touchdown. Well, you like to see the Saint coaches with their hands up in the air for a touchdown. That's all the Saints have done tonight, 35-0. Some of your other Super Saint level sponsors of 2025: Shiloh Christian Football, Daisy Outdoor Products, Jetson Coveting, Williams Tractor, TRS Healthcare, Paint Innovators Incorporated, Impressions Online Boutique, Harris CPA LLC, Old Key Construction, ERC Companies, Wild Birds Unlimited, Tesseract Fab LLC, For the Kids Scholarship Program, and Nordic Cause. Some of our sponsors that help you bring Shiloh football down, as Cliff mentioned, a long way in South Arkansas, but it's been so far so good for the Saints as they lead at 35-0. Aiden with a great kick, his strongest one yet. It's going to be taken at the 15, trying to get across the field to the 25, and he can't. Hit there hard and knocked down at the 20-yard line. Great kickoff coverage by the Saints right there. So looked like that for Shiloh. Looked like Josiah McClellan with the stop right there. So the junior, really good open field tackle at the 20-yard line. 7:31 to go. Lake Hamilton is going to start this drive at their own 21-yard line, trailing 35-0. And Cliff, I got to tell you, we've had 2 trips of 3.5 hours plus. We've won 72-0, and we're up 35-0. Coach may want to play every game 4 hours from home the way we're playing on the road right now.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he's very pleased, but I don't know if he's that pleased where he wants to take this show on the road every week. It's a long drive. Again, man, you can't see our fans right now, but another packed stands here on the visitor side. Saints travel well, and they tackle well. They're doing a great job tonight. Just loading up here against the run. There's a shot of the fans. You see us up here.
Wave at you from the
in the
top.
elements.
Not too bad temperature-wise. I thought it was going to be a little colder than what it is. But down here in South Arkansas, yeah, Cliff, I was really proud of our crowd tonight. It is a long way down here, and you have Halloween, so a lot of families with kids doing stuff tonight. So there's a handoff to Johnson. A nice cut to the 30, to the 35. Johnson to the 40. Breaks a tackle midfield, 45-40. Rose going to slow him down, and then the Saints are going to knock him out of bounds. So Johnson had a lot to do with that run, just a good one. So his biggest run from the 22 of Lake Hamilton, he will rip off almost 50-plus on that carry down to the Saint 35. Biggest play of the night for Lake Hamilton. It may be almost equivalent to what total yardage they've had at this point. So Johnson, the sophomore running back, with a good carry to the 35, and Lake Hamilton will huddle up to go through. So Lake Hamilton tried to run it a little bit more after trying an empty set early in the game. Couldn't get any success with that. Trying a little bit different approach here. Quarterback under center with a hard snap count. Now he'll come and look at his wrist. He's got Johnson and he's got Autry. Now Autry's interesting. Number one, has gotten a lot of carries and a lot of plays for Lake Hamilton, but hasn't touched it so far tonight. Now they're going to have to take a timeout as they couldn't get the play in fast enough for the play clock to go off.
Well, you talk about Johnson tonight. He came into this game only carrying the ball 43 times. Autry, the other running back, came into the game with 117 carries on the season. Johnson, just 27 yards. I mean, he has eclipsed that big time here in the first half. Playing great, really has been the shining star for the Wolves here in the first half. Autry comes in 65 yards, and then, like we said, Bohannon rushing the ball 42 times, or 42 yards per game average, and he is nowhere near that. But, yeah, Johnson having a great game and showing some great athletic ability out there on the offensive side and running kickoffs back. Great speed. He gets to the outside. He's quick.
So Lake Hamilton uses timeouts. They couldn't get the play call in fast enough. And Cliff, our opponent next week, the Van Buren Pointers, we talked about a really interesting game with Mountain Home tonight. Where's Van Buren in the standings? Well, Mountain Home's up 28-0 late in the first half. And so Van Buren, as they've seen a step up in conference play, have really struggled against a couple of the top teams in the league. They'll make a trip to Champion Stadium for senior night, homecoming, and I don't know what else we can throw in on that game. But
well, Mo Henry, the head coach of Van Buren, former coach, baseball head coach, and football assistant at Shiloh for many years, and coming back home a little bit. So, yeah, a lot happening next Friday night in Champion Stadium.
There's a run play to the left side of the St. line, going to get it down to the 30-yard line, a pickup of about 5 for Lake Hamilton. One other game in the conference play we're kind of keeping an eye on tonight. Greenwood and Southside are playing tonight in Greenwood. They are late in the second quarter right now, and Greenwood leads that game 35-14 over as Greenwood leads Southside 35-14. So chalk holds in those two games. We're going to see a matchup next week for Mountain Home with a big lot up on the line. There's number one, Autry. He's going to be taken off his feet at the 24-yard line, but he'll pick up about 6 or 7 on that carry for a first down at the 24-yard line. So good run there by Autry. Been a little surprised he has not touched the ball more in this game, as Cliff mentioned, leading the team in carries, but Johnson's done a good job, the sophomore running back, and kind of watched on film last week. They gave Johnson a lot of carries against Mountain Home, so as he gets in. So power formation for Lake Hamilton right here. They're going to run it to the 20. He's going to dive down to the 17, and that's going to be very close to a first down.
And that's a pretty successful play there for Lake Hamilton. I mean, that's what we're used to seeing out of the Wolves offense. Again, they're making some transition, a lot more passing. Just haven't been successful with it tonight. But you see this power setup, power run game, and here they are lined up that way again.
Well, Lake Hamilton's just kind of changed the offensive plan from 1 to 2 as they're going to run it up the middle this time to the 19. Official says he's going to move the chains. That'll be enough for a first down. But, yeah, Cliff, they came out in an empty set, and the Saints had so much pressure they've just changed and said, okay, let's just go the total opposite. We'll just line 9 guys across the line of scrimmage and power run the football. And it has been granted, they had the long run by Johnson, but been their best drive of the night.
Yeah, and our defense needs to make some adjustments too. They still need to get in the backfield. But, boy, you see all the linemen there on the line of scrimmage, 8 linemen.
There's a handoff to Autry. He's going to get a couple right there. St. Defense does a good job, as Cliff mentioned, adjusting. As Autry will get a yard to the 13, so 2nd and 9.
But one thing that may be happening here on the Lake Hamilton side, Billy, is you're kind of lulling Shiloh to sleep a little bit. It's a little bit boring football, and then they may pop a tight end out. You got to be ready for that in secondary. Can't get sucked in too close. Got to watch somebody popping out.
So at the 13, 2nd down, and Lake Hamilton's just there set with this offense. There's a handoff to the 10 inside there. It's going to be a couple yards for Lake Hamilton right there, so third down. But, you know, Cliff, this formation, it almost reminds you of the old days of Prairie Grove, watching the Tigers where they would just run it, and the next thing you know, there's a tight end going down to see him untouched.
Right. Well, if you're going to do this and be successful at it, Billy, you've got to have a physical offensive line that just controls and gets a push on the offensive line. We haven't seen that out of Lake Hamilton yet tonight.
This time, Lake Hamilton's going to put two guys to the left. It's just almost a really super tight formation. They hand it off to Autry, nothing doing. Great job by the defensive line. Coach Holly fired up on the sidelines as they're going to lose yards. So it's going to be fourth down for the Wolves right there. So great job by the Saint defense. They, after a couple plays, kind of got the bearings and said, all right, if you're going to try to do this, we're going to adjust our set as well to go through. So Lake Hamilton's going to try a field goal, see if they can put some points on the board right here. Kicker number 97. A lot of kickers wear 97, Cliff. 97, Marvin Garcia. But they're taking him off. Yeah, they ran him out and then ran him back on the field. Empty backfield for the quarterback, Bohannon. So we'll see what Lake Hamilton, 4th and 5, if they're going to go for it. Yep, they are. Back to pass. Fires over the middle. It's caught by Johnson at the 1. He's fighting. He's taken down there. He stopped short of the goal line, but it is enough for the first down. So 1st and goal for Lake Hamilton. So Wolves will have a 1st and goal with 2:45 to go in the quarter.
Yeah, so we'll see what this Saint defense can do now with 1st and goal. As you said, the Wolves at the 1-yard line. I'm sure they'll just use a power set, as you see here. A little tush push maybe.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Quarterback sneak right up the middle. Let's see if Bohannon got his way in. Going to take a little bit of unpiling the bodies to figure out where the football is. He's short. 2nd down and goal. So Bohannon, quarterback sneak.
I think they're going to run the same play 3 more times, and if they just can't get it in, they just can't get it in. Win for Shiloh. But, well, you see some big guys there on the offensive line. A lot of beef down there.
So 2nd down and goal. Obviously, at this point, Lake Hamilton also trying to run a little time off the clock as they'll get it under 2 minutes left to go. And we've got a whistle and a timeout. So Shiloh takes a timeout. The Saints want to do it, take the timeout. So you're probably asking, it's 35-0. Why are the Saints calling a timeout? Well, if Lake Hamilton scores, Cliff, you're saving time to offensive drive. If you can respond and score, you get back to the sportsmanship rule. You get a running clock in the second half. So,
and plus Shiloh gets the ball coming out of halftime too.
So a little bit of thinking ahead right there by the coaches of like, hey, all right, we may give up the touchdown here inside the 1, but we just want time to have our team, the offense, the ball.
Well, you see our defensive unit here. They don't want to give up a touchdown.
No,
they want to pitch a shutout and just keep the intensity level at a high level. You don't want a score here. You want to come away with maybe a turnover, get some defensive push there, knock that ball out. But they've got their work cut out. That ball, the tip of that ball is inches away from the goal line. So it's not going to take much for the Wolves to get it in.
So 2nd and goal for Lake Hamilton inside the 1-yard line. Again, Lake Hamilton came to the Champion Stadium last year, upset the Saints 35-28. A little bit more senior-laden team that Lake Hamilton had last year. They won a playoff game, and then they lost in the state quarterfinal at Benton, which is the team the Saints put out in the state semifinal last year. So Lake Hamilton with a 2nd down and goal at the 1. Bohannon will go up under center. He's got a fullback directly behind him and a fullback to his left. They're going to turn and hand it off to the fullback. He's hit at the line, but is able to spin off for the touchdown. So he was hit initially at the line of scrimmage, was 47 Elijah Watson, but he was able to spin and get into the end zone for a touchdown. I mentioned the fireworks will be going off just to our right here of where we're positioned in kind of the upper part of the stand. So touchdown for Lake Hamilton. So on senior night, they get it in the end zone for the first time, and the aforementioned kicker Marvin Garcia will kick the extra point to try to make it a 35-7 game. Extra point. Good pressure. It's blocked. Saints get out there and block it. So they nearly blocked the punt. Now they get one in special teams, and they get a block of the extra point. So 35-6 our new score. 1:48 left to go here in the first half. Saints will have plenty of time, though, 1:48, when they'll also have 2 timeouts to go through. And so, Cliff, you're in obviously control this game 35-6, but I promise you the coaching staff's probably not terribly upset about a 2-minute drill. You might need one at a critical point in the season. Great opportunity here to work on something and effectively. And if I'm not mistaken, you'll have to correct me, this would be, if the Saints score here, 6 drives, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, you are correct there. They've had 5 drives, scored on all 5 of them. They started off really quick, 20-second drive, 46-second drive, or 40-second drive, excuse me, 51-second drive, a minute 47, and the last scoring drive for the Saints, 2 minutes and 3 seconds. So we've got a minute 48 remaining, plenty of time for the Saint offense to put the ball down the field, put it in the end zone going into halftime. And then, like I said, they will get the kickoff coming out of the half. So you've got an opportunity here to have a 14-point swing potentially if the Saints can put it in.
35-6 our score as Lake Hamilton gets their first point of the game. Updated score from Greenwood. Greenwood 35, Southside 21 right before the half. So Southside hanging in there at Smith Robinson Stadium, where it's a little difficult to win down in Greenwood. So, and here is the kick. Good high kick. Slider's going to field it at the 3. We'll return it going left, 10 to the 15. He's got a little bit of a wall to the 20, 25, and then he's going to be taken down out of bounds around the 30-yard line where he's pushed out. Good job by the Saint return team. They had a nice little wall set up to the left side, and Slider was able to get from kind of the right hash all the way to the left sideline with the wall set up. So Shiloh is going to be officially starting this drive at the 33. A minute 39, 2 timeouts left. Saints used a minute and 51 seconds to score 3 touchdowns on their first 3 drives. So certainly something that is doable here for the offense. Chandler Kemp in motion across the formation. There's a snap. Play action to Griffin. He's going to go deep down the middle of the field. One-on-one for Slaughter. It's called at the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Well, it didn't take long. A minute 28 to go in the first half. And it is a bomb from Cole Creighton to number 3, Slaughter, for the touchdown. So Shiloh with a 67-yard touchdown pass with a minute 28 left to go in the half. And so that makes the score 41-6. And Cliff and I were both frantically counting yardage in our minds right there.
As fast as we have operated here in the first half, Billy, and scored so much, I mean, I've been scribbling my notes over here, just chicken scratch. And so I'm going to have to, at halftime, figure out really what these numbers are. But I can say one thing, the numbers are heavily in favor of Shiloh offensively here as they score again very, very quickly. It only took 11 seconds. We're talking about a minute 39. It only took the Saints 11 seconds, one play, and like we said, 67-yard pass completion from Cole Creighton to Zane Slaughter.
You know what? One thing, Cliff, I really appreciate about Cole, that's a pass 40, 50 yards down the field, and it's perfectly in rhythm. Slaughter catches it just, in full motion, doesn't have to slow down, turn around. Creighton just drops it in there.
Well, he's so good on the deep ball. I mean, I've talked about it all year. I feel like that's the strength of his game. He's got a lot of strengths, rolling out, reading the defense, running when he needs to run. But, man, he just throws a beautiful deep ball and, like you said, puts it in his receiver's hands, puts it where they can catch it. They don't have to adjust much at all. The ball is there. I mean, that's just a really good gift that Cole Creighton has throwing the ball.
So Saints will kick off. Lake Hamilton now, they have 2 timeouts as there's the kick. Wolves are going to run up and take it at the 22 to the 25-30. It has a little bit of a hole, and he's going to be taken down at the 41 as that was Wilson on the return. So Shiloh will see Lake Hamilton start around there just a little past their own 40. 2 timeouts and a minute 22 left to go in the first half. Some of the fans upset, thought there was a block in the back against Lake Hamilton that wasn't called. Maybe that's why the hole was so big. But either way, it's going to be a first down for the Wolves. Now, the Wolves last time just went to a power formation and ran it. Minute 22 left in the half. They really can't do that here. They're going to have to diversify a little bit, you would think. So on first down, though, it's a split backfield with Autry and Williams and a power formation. So let's see what they do if they want to throw maybe to a tight end right here. Try something a little bit different out of this formation. Handoff coming this way. Williams to the 50, the 45, the 40. He's gone. 30, 20, and both teams with big plays as a sophomore running back takes it to the house with a minute 12 left to go in the first half. So J.J. Johnson, I think I called him Williams, J.J. Johnson takes it to the house down the left sideline for Lake Hamilton, so it's 42-12 with a minute 12. Well, Cliff, just a second ago, it was a minute 39, I think, left to go in the first half, and we're like, well, the Saints can drive down and score. We've seen 2 touchdowns in the last really 30 or seconds.
21 seconds. That drive for the Wolves, 10 seconds. The Shiloh drive right before, 11 seconds. So 2 scores in 21 seconds, both on big plays, one on the ground, one in the air.
Now, Lake Hamilton had the last extra point blocked, so you would assume, and that is what they're going to do. They're going to go for 2 here to try to make it a 42-14 game. If they can do it here, that would get the score back under 28. Lake Hamilton's going to have to burn a timeout. They couldn't quite decide fast enough that they wanted to go for 2, so they will burn a timeout. 1 left in the half for the Wolves. Saints will get it back with a minute 12. I think that's plenty of time for offense to score, Cliff.
Plenty of time for the Saint offense to score. We don't want the defense to give up another big play like they just did. But, yeah, Johnson, boy, he's having a career game as a sophomore, just a sophomore running back, as he came in just averaging 27 yards per game this season. And I haven't been keeping up with his stats, but, boy, he's got to be 80 to 100 yards. Here's the replay here, and you just see a great hole there on the left side, and then he slides through a Shiloh would-be tackler, and then Johnson just uses his speed. No zigzagging by Johnson. He just runs it down the sideline in for the score. But, you know, you're down if you're Lake Hamilton 42-12, still time on the clock. Shiloh can come down and obviously put another score on the board, and coming out of the half, they get the ball again. So we may see a lot more fireworks here in the next few minutes.
Well, Lake Hamilton decided they're just going to run the football anyway. Didn't care about the clock, but they get a big chunk play and get really their biggest gain of the night by far. Johnson's had a couple long runs here in the second quarter that's gotten their offense going a little bit. 42-12, 2-point try going here. They're going to shift 2 guys to the right. They'll go basically a quad right formation. Now they'll send it back out to make it 5 receivers to the right. Throw back over the middle is intercepted. Saints can't return that. A 2-point play is a dead ball, but Salter does pick it off, so the 2-point try is no good. So in a college game, Salter would be running the other way to the end zone, but in high school, once you have possession on the defensive side, it's just a dead, a play that is no good for the 2-point conversion. So 42-12, a minute 12 left to go. We also have a flag down at about the 25-yard line toward the Saints sideline, so we'll see what that penalty marker is about. So Salter called for the unsportsmanlike conduct. Didn't see anything obvious he did, but I don't know if something said or what. Either way, so Saints are going to be a little bit backed off as Lake Hamilton will kick it off from the Saint 45. You see the coaches talking to the officials, trying to get some clarification as to what's going on. Halftime in Greenwood, 35-21. Bulldogs lead Southside in that game. So Southside giving the Bulldogs a little bit of a fight there. I think most folks around the state would be a little surprised at that score, even though Greenwood does have a 2-touchdown lead. But see the Shiloh staff working there with their defense, kind of adjusting to what J.J. Johnson's done effectively in the last couple of drives to get that done. So Lake Hamilton's going to kick off from the Saint 45. And maybe I'm projecting, Cliff, but if I'm Lake Hamilton, I'm onside kicking right here. You don't have a lot of yardage that you're losing, because at worst you're going to start at the 35.
Yeah, that's a good call, Billy. I mean, that's a Coach Billy call right there. You've coached your son Matthew for several years. You watch a ton of football. You know football. That's a great call by Billy Blunt.
But as I say that, it looks like he's going to see how far he can kick it. And he just kicks it through the back of the end zone.
I mean, really, you don't gain a whole lot by doing that. I mean, you might as well try.
Yeah.
You're down 42-12. You might as well try.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's obviously a big hill to climb, but you get an onside kick right there, you score. It's a 3-possession game at the half, where on the flip side, if you give up another touchdown, you're down 49-12 at the half. So not saying you're going to get the onside kick, but it's 15 yards essentially of field position there with a little bit of a risk. So surprised Lake Hamilton didn't onside kick it there. But Cole Creighton, let's see if he can get the offense down. He's going to throw a bomb down the middle to Slider again. Hey, he's got it. Guess what? 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. 80 yards for the Saints. 1:01 left in the half. Well, the clock operator ran a couple more seconds off. We'll go to 59. But Cole Creighton, 80 yards to Slider. And it was 1:39 left to go in the first half. We were talking about the Saints had 2 timeouts to try to score before the end of the half. We're at the 59-second mark of the first half. We've seen 3 touchdowns between these two teams in the last 30 or 40 seconds of this half. Just big plays everywhere. 80 yards for Creighton to Slider. And the extra point coming from Aiden Eastwood out of the hold of Jake Bodenstein is through the uprights and good. So here's your replay of Cole's touchdown pass of 80 yards to Slider, and just a Cliff, nothing fancy about that, just a go route, and Cole put it on the money about 30, 40 yards down the field to Slider for the touchdown, and Shiloh puts the lead out to 49-12 as they extend it out to 37. That's an important number because that 37, obviously greater than 35, so you would have a sportsmanship rule and a running clock here in the second half of this game if the Saints don't give up a touchdown here in the final 59 seconds, which I can assure you our coaches don't want to see that happen. So they will put their best foot forward for the defense to try to keep Lake Hamilton off the board here to go. Now they do have a kicker in Marvin Garcia, who in pregame warm-up was hitting them from 50+, which was quite impressive for a high school kicker to be kicking from that distance. So Lake Hamilton, that 3 points would matter. It would get it to 34 and keep the sportsmanship rule from going into effect in the second half, at least for a little bit if they can get a field goal here. Aiden Eastwood, great kick for Aiden's going to be taking it to 15, to the 20, up the field to the 25. He's going to be taken down at the 30-yard line. Good coverage by the Saints right there. 52 seconds left to go in the half, and the Wolves will take over from their own 31.
Will Fryer there on the tackle. Sophomore on the kicking unit. Problem there on the return for the Wolves, Billy. They ran up the middle. Their big success on kickoffs have been running to the outside, specifically the Shiloh sideline. But it doesn't leave much time for the Wolves to try to do something here. 52 seconds.
We'll see if they stay up in that power run formation is what they've done, although they do have one wide receiver already set wide to the right on first down and 10 from their own 31. So they're going to go one wide receiver and kind of a split back formation. They'll shift Braden Goodell to the running back. They're going to hand it off to Autry right up the middle. Autry's hit, no gain as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. So kind of the primary feature back in most of the offense for Lake Hamilton has been Autry until tonight, where they just really ran J.J. Johnson. So Autry gets credited for a yard. Second down, 33 seconds left in the half. A little bit of tempo for Lake Hamilton, but not a lot here. Autry and Johnson again in a split back formation. They're going to hand it to Johnson coming this way to the 35, and he's going to be taken off his feet at the 39-yard line. Matt Kimbrough got him on the ground right there, along with Tate Barnard at the 39-yard line. Good pickup by Johnson of about 7, but it leaves a 3rd down and 2 for the Wolves. 9 seconds to go in the half. Clock running. Lake Hamilton had a timeout. They've elected not to use it. Quarterback, he's not even going to take the snap clip. They're just going to let it go to the half. So that will end the first half, and the Saints will have a sportsmanship rule in the second half as they lead 49-12. And Cliff, for the offense, 7 drives, 7 touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah, it has been unbelievable. They're led by their junior quarterback, Cole Creighton. Let's do these stats, Billy. 17 of 18 for 444 yards, 7 touchdowns through the air for the junior quarterback. His leading receiver, the senior, Zane Slider, 8 receptions, 224 yards. Again, this is one half a play. 8 receptions, 224 yards, 3 touchdowns. Charlie Kroll, 3 receptions for 93 yards, 2 touchdowns, all through the air. The team rushing, only 6 rushes tonight so far in one half a play, Billy, for 35 yards. The Saints are seeing where they can have success tonight, and it is through the air on this secondary of Lake Hamilton. They're not needing much ground game. The Saints aren't, as it has been all through the air. Now, I don't know if we'll see Cole Creighton in the second half. or Zane Slider, those guys have put up incredible numbers in one half of play. But you're going to see a lot of younger guys. We're going to have this running clock here. Saints get the ball coming out of the half.
Yep, Saints dominant from the offensive side of the football in the first half, and Lake Hamilton with a couple of late touchdowns, but the Saints responded every time after the defense really shut Lake Hamilton down for a quarter and a half. So we'll kick it down the field for halftime. Saints with a big lead at the half, 49-12 over Lake Hamilton.
And now for your halftime entertainment, let's hear it for the Lake Hamilton High School Steppenwolves.
joining us for UC Arkansas, please join Lake Hamilton High School Marching Band. Lake Hamilton's show is titled Leonardo, the Vision, and features the music of Bob Schultz, Robert W. Smith,
fueling the power band tonight. The band's next performance will be this Wednesday at 1 o'clock in War Memorial Stadium, where it will compete for each their consecutive state championship. The band will host its annual Chili Supper and Grand National Send-Off performance at Wolf Stadium on Monday, November 10th, beginning at 7 o'clock. And we would like to invite everyone to attend. One more time, let's give it for your power band of Arkansas.
Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are.
My Lord, he a way maker, the truth and the life and the chain breaker. Devil think he big, but his reign's greater. He rose from the dead. This ain't Tupac, cause he took more than a few shots. Romans let his feet to the stake while the Jews watch. After 3 days, and he rose from the tomb. Stop acting like he want us to the door, never you not. Yeshua's my remedy. I was lost till I found him in me. Went from a sinner to him as my centerpiece. He is my sinner, then he gave me inner peace. So what would I care if people hate me? I appreciate it greatly. I'm building on rock, no sin can't break me. You building your house on sin can't face me. I used to build up a facade, cause I was living in lies. Cause I was tripping, was giving my gift to the world. But now I give it to God. I'm picking a side. I need a remedy to rise. Look what the kingdom supplies. When you let him be your guide, yo. Seen this with hands in the fist in the sky. Seen it.
Moving in our midst, I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. 'Cause you are here. I worship you. I worship you. Jesus, you are here. You are always here. Oh, I worship the Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. That is who you are.
I told my mama it's gonna be okay. Papa told me it's gonna be okay. I just pray that I'm walking in faith. Any other way is not the way. I've been on the run a lot of days, trying to fill my heart with other things. Lost a couple friends along the way. My only hope is they caught on his name. All my life I've been running wild. How I end up the problem child. I've been hurting and pain went viral. Ooh, child, where did your mind go now? Mama told me to turn that down. I've been hurting and pain went viral. I guess I'm the problem child. I told my mama it's gonna be okay. I'm not my dad, I'll die a different way. Break out of this curse and walk in faith. Daily we paving these better days. I've been on the rock, I've been praising God. New vision in my eyes, brought me back to life. All of my demons waving goodbye. Watching this heaven fall down inside. All my life I've been running wild. How I end up the problem child. I've been hurting and pain went viral. Ooh, child, where did your mind go now? Mama told me to turn that down. I've been hurting and pain went viral. I guess I'm the problem child. young child. Save me, come save me. Save me, won't somebody save me? Save me, come save me. Save me, save me. Wrapped in amazing, amazing grace, so amazing. Yeah, yeah, nah, that's amazing. Somebody save me, somebody save me. Somebody, Jesus, please save me. Yeah. Look, I was the one in them classes, youngin' but making it happen. 2 up, 2 down in Manhattan. Never had Gucci or Louis Dior, but this music, I swear that I did it in fashion. Don't gotta rush, I got hours in this, and you know that I'm really about action. Can't believe that they counted me out, now we running them numbers just like how I knew it would happen. Don't gotta cat to be fitted, pay for whatever I'm living. When I die, put my name with the best of them, just to inspire the rest of my city. They don't know what we had to endure. Youngin' was sleeping on floors, went to all states, but God had us insured. Rapping that Boys and Girl Club on the tour. Around the same time, parents got a divorce. Honestly, what really made me mature? We had to pick lots just to get to the door. They hate and say Diddy, they know I'm a bad boy. I've been on since I was 16. They was hot, they been losing they steam. I was quiet, she thought I was shy. Went from watching the throne to being the king, yeah. Came from the bottom, yeah, I paid the price, they couldn't afford it, yeah. I had to build from the ground, I never could let them destroy it, They said that they hard, ain't cover my cough, it's a hole in their story, yeah. I'm living my dream, I gotta thank God and give him the glory, yeah. Came from the bottom, yeah, I paid the price, they couldn't afford it, I had it built from the ground, I never could let them destroy it, They said that they hard, ain't come from my cloth, it's a hole in their story, yeah. I'm living my dream, I gotta thank God and give him the glory. Look, y'all OGs not leading the way, I swear they just get in y'all way. I remember when Toe gave the platform and gave me the power, I almost got carried away. It was major when I got a minor verse, if I could be honest, that's back when he gave me the game. All the ones that was hating, they looking like Jordan, cause they just been fading away. I gotta thank God, cause I don't look like what I've been through. VA the folk that I tend to. No, I skate when I give them this new. They know I'm a bad boy. They tryna keep up. They huffing and puffing. We made it from scratch, from nothing to something. I'm loving the person life got me becoming. I got my ribbon.
Welcome back to Lake Hamilton. The Wolves and the Saints about ready to get the second half started. We will be under the sportsmanship rules. The Saints will receive the opening kickoff of the second half, leading 49-12. And Cliff, if somebody's just tuning in, enjoy the stat line from Cole Creighton in the first half.
Yeah, just unbelievable. We talked about it as we were going into the half, but Cole Creighton, the junior quarterback, 17 of 18 passing for 444 yards. I am saying those numbers correctly. I've double-checked them. At halftime, 7 touchdowns for the junior quarterback. He has just put the ball on the receiver's hands all night long. Leading receiver, the senior, Zane Slider, 8 catches, 224 yards, 3 touchdowns. Zane having an incredible night, running routes, catching the ball. Again, 3 touchdowns, 224 yards. Charlie Kroll, sophomore, running back, 3 catches out of the backfield, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. As a team, Shiloh has only rushed the ball 6 times tonight. That's just amazing because Coach Barnard is just such he loves the air game, but he loves it on the ground and dominating a team. 6 rushes for 35 yards.
Onside kick to start the second half for Lake Hamilton. Lake Hamilton thinks they have it. Shiloh coaches think they touched it before it went 10 yards, so we'll see what the officials rule here. So Lake Hamilton offside, so they will re-kick it from the 35-yard line to start the second half. So Wolves down big decide, hey, let's try to start something different in the second half with an onside kick. Just didn't quite have the execution as they were offside, so the kicker will kick it again. But yeah, Cliff, it was funny. I was talking to some football dads at the halftime break, and everybody's question was, what was the one incompletion from Cole in the first half? And so 17 of 18. I think
it was the first pass.
Oh, the first one.
It was the first pass.
There's the kick. This time it goes deep. Saints at the 10. Slider 15 to the 20. Outside 25 to the 30. Cuts back inside to the 35, and he's going to be taken down at the 39-yard line. So, yeah, that was the discussion at halftime was, I think we tried, was a swing pass to the running back, I believe, if I remember right. I could be wrong there, but It was such a long time ago.
Well, I know. I mean, knowing that was the first pass, that makes it even kind of more impressive of what Cole has done, finishing the half 17 of 17 for 444 yards. But, yeah, first pass incompletion. And then, like I said, just on his receivers' money all night long.
At the 39, Saints will take over there, leading 49-12 as we start the third quarter. Bodenstein will empty out of the backfield. Saints will go empty. Lake Hamilton's going to show blitz as we expect. Here they come off the edge. Creighton has it, throws deep down the middle, intended for Griffin Mason, a little bit behind him and incomplete at the 34-yard line. So second down and 10. So Cole started the first half with incompletion, second half with incompletion, although I will go on a limb and say it won't be 17 more attempts out of Cole in this game tonight. But Shiloh will have it at the 39, second down and 10. And again, we'll have a running clock here in the second half. Chandler Kemp in motion, handoff coming this way, big hole. Griffin in the midfield, and he's going to be taken off his feet at the Lake Hamilton 49-yard line. So gain of about 10, maybe 11. We'll give him 11 there to the 49. First down and 10 for the Saints. Shiloh to keep the starters on the offense. Probably will see him one, maybe two possessions here in the second half. Handoff, Griffin going left side of the 45, and he slips down there. He'll pick up, let's see, we'll give him 3 to the 46. Second and 7 for Griffin Mason. 10-27. Again, week 9 of the season. Saints will wrap up the regular season at home next week against the Pointers of Van Buren. As Cole takes a snap, he rolls right, he fires the out route. It's caught at the 40 by who else but Slaughter. He steps out of bounds right at the sticks at the 38-yard line. So gain of 9 and a first down for the Saint offense. So it'll be a little bit of a mix of homecoming and maybe senior night too. We'll see what the Saints want to do. They had to move homecoming due to the weather a couple weeks ago against Siloam. Handoff coming this way. Griffin Mason, he goes down to the 32-yard line. So Griffin's going to get 6 on that carry. Second down and 4 coming up. Saints will send Beach and Kemp and Slaughter all to the right. Tight end to the left will be Bodenstein. Cole going to fire, quick hitter out to Slaughter, breaks a tackle, 30, and he's going to be shoved out of bounds somewhere inside the 30-yard line. We'll see officially where they mark it. They're going to give him the first down and spot it at the 26. So it's going to be a gain of 7 for Slaughter on that reception as Cole will add to his yardage, and so will Slaughter. At the 26, 2 receivers left. First down for the Saints, 9:06 to go. Handoff, Griffin kind of jukes, I'm sorry, actually that's Charlie. Charlie to the 20, and Correll's going to be inside the 15 before he finally steps out of bounds, as Lake Hamilton's going to knock Charlie out at around, let's see, 12. I think that'll be a gain of 14 for Correll and another Saint first down. So Correll in the game at running back here. Charlie had a good first half. Sophomore running back. Handoff one more time. Charlie spins away from one guy, trying to fight his way back. Just not a lot going right there. Good defense by Lake Hamilton as they will drop Charlie for a yard loss back to the 13. So second down coming up. Saint offense has kept the tempo up pretty quick here. 49-12, 8:24 to go with a running clock second half. First possession for either team in the half. Bodenstein's going to go in motion all the way across the formation. They're going to throw a screen to Kemp. Kemp gets a great block from Bodenstein. Oh, they flag him for it. He's going to score, but this is going to come back. Well, Jake had a good block. The defender kind of spun on him, and I think that's when the flag came out. So penalty will back the Saints up, wipe the touchdown off the board here. Well, they officially call it on Cohen Beach, so not Jake Bodenstein, but they were both out there blocking. Ball backed up to the 22. It's going to be second down. Saints will have 2 receivers to the right for Creighton. He's going to look left, fire down the middle. It's caught by Griffin Mason at the 5. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Saints. No flags. Shiloh will take on and go right down the field and score to start the second half. Good job there as Creighton hit his running back Griffin Mason out of the backfield. So Griffin normally gets his carries on the ground. He gets one in the air right there as Aiden Eastwood will try to add point number 56 as the Saints take the opening drive of the second half down for points. And the kick is up, and it is good. So it has been an efficient night for the Shiloh offense. 56 points, 8 possessions, 8 touchdowns, and they have just been efficient from the very, very beginning of this one. So the replay coming here. As you see, Cole just hit Griffin down the seam before the safety could get over there for Lake Hamilton. And with a touchdown. And so, Cliff, the offensive stats over there are keeping you busy because the St. offense has just been moving like crazy tonight.
Well, they really are. It's a very unique night. Shiloh obviously scoring every drive tonight. All the scores have been through the air, so there's a lot of writing I have to do over here. And, man, I mean, this drive chart and these numbers are just really amazing. Cole Creighton now is 20 of 22 passing for 482 yards. So, approaching 500 yards, which I think would be a career high for Cole. I think he's already surpassed his career high in one single game. 8 touchdowns. Just an amazing effort here tonight by the St. offense.
Eastwood's kick's taken at the 20, up the seam to the 39-yard line is number 4, DJ Wilson, who returns it for Lake Hamilton. So the Wolves will start there at the 39-yard line. But, yeah, Cliff, probably I would think, too, for a career high for Cole, maybe I'm thinking the Alma game as a freshman. That was probably one of his other higher totals of yardage. But offensively tonight, Shiloh has just been on point, and the defense really set the tone in this game, too. Can't forget about that. The defensive line just dominated the first quarter of this game. Really kind of got Lake Hamilton completely out of their game. There's J.J. Johnson-LeCarry, and he stretches out to the 46-yard line. So,
well, I really like Johnson. A sophomore running back, as you see him there, number 0. He had a great first half, and you just see, to me, it looks like he's got great vision, finding an open hole. He's got quickness, speed, not real big in stature, but he's pretty elusive. So he's really been a bright spot, and I'm certain that's something the coaches, when they think about next year and the years to come, of just basing an offense around Johnson there.
At the 47, 2nd and 2 for Lake Hamilton. Wolves going to hand it off to the fullback. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, nothing doing. They tried a little quick trap play. Saints were all over that at the 40-yard line, so the quick half back just hand off didn't work right there. I say halfback, fullback. So run didn't work. 3rd down and 4 for the Wolves as they lose yardage on that play. So, again, if you're noticing the clock, we do have a running clock as the sportsmanship rules in place in the 56-12 game. 3rd down, quarterback running for his life just like the first half. He turns and just fires it into the sidelines, incomplete. Well, every time he's dropped back to pass for the most of the night, the Saint defensive line has just been all over him. It's officially an incomplete pass as this time he does get it back to the line of scrimmage. So 4th down, we'll see if Lake Hamilton just elects to go for it on 4th and 4 here. Really not a whole lot to lose, or if they're going to try to punt it away. Nope, they're going to send the punting unit on, so it looks like they're going to run. But, man, Cliff, you really got to credit our defensive line. I don't think maybe other than one time the entire game, quarterback Bohannon has had any time at all to throw the football.
No, he really hasn't. And all his rollouts to the right, he's been under pressure every single time on the right side, or the left side of the Shiloh defense. And so give the Shiloh defense credit for getting in the backfield, getting in his face.
Lake Hamilton does punt it away. Silas Nance is just going to let this one go over his head. It's going to hit at the 20, take a high bounce. Lake Hamilton will have it roll, and then Saints are going to start inside their own 5-yard line.
How many times do you see a football in that shape just land like a watermelon and roll another 10, 15, 20 yards? You just saw it on that punt right there. Usually it hits an end, kicks left, kicks right, kicks up, whatever. That just landed perfectly on the seams and just rolled. And Shiloh will start inside their 5-yard line.
So Saints are backed up, kind of looking at unit out there. I think they're going to leave the starters out there. Maybe one of those possessions that you would have been kind of like, do we put the backups in here? Do we leave the starters one more possession? But then you get backed up inside your own 5. Makes it a little bit more of an easy decision to leave the starters out there. So be drive number 9 for this Saint offense. They've scored on the first 8, so we'll see what happens on drive 9. They got a long way to go, though, starting at their own 4. Cole's going to send Slaughter in motion behind him, takes the snap, throws it to him. It's caught at the 2, to the 5, to the 10, and then pushing his way forward is Slaughter still on his feet out to the 16-yard line. He'll get 12 yards and it'll be a Shiloh first down. So Saints get Slaughter open and hit it to him right there. Good job of getting out from their own end zone. And so we normally say the shadows of the goalpost, but kind of, Cliff, you get the shadows of the flag, the way they've got it elevated up from the fire truck to the corner of the end zone there. So it's a first down. Saints going to run it right here. Big hole, 15 to the 20 and up to the 24. He's kind of chopped down there is Griffin Mason, but Griffin will get 8, so 2nd and 2 before he's taken off his feet. And Griffin was almost gone right there.
Just the 7th rush for Griffin Mason tonight, 55 yards. Would like to give him the ball a little more. Haven't needed him tonight, so it's good with him coming back from injury for him to have a game where he doesn't have to, everything doesn't have to ride on him.
Well, hey, he's going to get some yardage right here. Griffin in the midfield, and he's going to be taken down at the 49-yard line. So Griff goes from the 23 all the way out to the Lake Hamilton 49-yard line. So a gain of 28 and a first down at the Wolf 49-yard line. And it looks like the job of the first-string offensive line tonight is done. And the offensive players, they're going to swap out. So they just wanted to kind of get the Saints out of the shadow of their goalposts with the starters right there. Handoff coming this way, the Will Fryer to the 40. Will with a good run down to the 35-yard line. So Fryer with his first carry gets 14 and a good pickup of first down. So Will really got a lot of speed for a sophomore running back. Saw him rip one off over in Bethany, Oklahoma, straight up the middle of the field, and the purple guys in Bethany had no chance to catch. Fryer has really, really good speed, so he's going to get some carries with Bodenstein and quarterback here. Jake's going to fire it out to the flat. It's caught at the 36, and it's going to be taken down there. Small, little of no gain whatsoever. Saints are going to get a flag right there as a offensive lineman and a defensive lineman for Lake Hamilton kind of on the ground having a little wrestling match right there. So flag came out, and we'll get some kind of personal foul probably right there. So ball's at the 36. Saints are going to back up and go the wrong way after the personal foul penalty to go through. So Lake Hamilton going to finally get the Saints in a 1st and long situation here. Chain gang guys were a little confused. They were trying to back up to where the penalty was, but it was a post-play penalty, so it's 2nd down for Shiloh. 2nd down and 25 back at their own 49-yard line. Again, clock running. Let's see if the Saints don't have to snap. Yeah, they will. And we've got a whistle, and I think we got a false start. On Shiloh. So that will end the 3rd quarter as the snap doesn't get off without the penalty. So Shiloh's going to have a lot of yardage to go as we start the 4th quarter. But Shiloh leads 56-12 over the Lake Hamilton Wolves.
So we'll have a quick 4th quarter here.
So while we got a second, we will take with the running clock, we'll try to get in our play of the game. So here's our play of the game from earlier tonight.
The Prism Pools and Outdoors play of the game.
2nd and long. Bohannon under center, back to pass, throws it over the middle, and it's going to be intercepted at the 31-yard line as Silas Nance picked it off, just like getting a rebound he does in basketball. He sticks one right there with the interception. Silas with the pick.
This play of the game brought to you by Prism Pools and Outdoors.
Welcome you back to Lake Hamilton. 4th quarter about to get underway. Saints will the 56-12 lead. So you see our play of the game, Silas Nance's interception. Just kind of a tip of the hat to the defense with a turnover there. They really set the tone in this game, dominant early. Offense has been effective too. And so, Cliff, we kind of start the 4th quarter. Stat line looks good for the Saints.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's just been exciting. 3 quarters of play for this offense. Defense has done an incredible job, too, to set the tone on the defensive side. But, well, Shiloh has been so effective through the air tonight.
Jake's going to fire the pass. Is tipped, is nearly intercepted by J.J. Johnson at the 42-yard line. Bodenstein tried to throw back this way and got deflected and incomplete. So it's going to be 3rd down as the Saints need to get all the way to the Lake Hamilton 25 for a first down. So Shiloh has got 31 yards they need to get on this play. Cliff's got some scores. We'll share those with you after this play right here. 3rd down and 31 for the Saints at their own 44. Jake back to pass. He's going to fire it. It's going to be caught by Huckabee at the 47. He's going to be taken down there, forward progress as he's dropped there. So Shiloh will pick up about 8 yards here, but it's going to be 4th and long.
So, yeah, some other scores we've been watching and talking about. Mountain Home up big all over Van Buren, 35-0. You got Russellville and Siloam really battling it out for a team to not be the cellar dweller there in the 6A West. Siloam up 7-3. Greenwood has opened up a little bigger lead against Fort Smith Southside, 35-14. So it looks like the big 3 at the top are going to win. Greenwood, Mountain Home, and Shiloh will stay the top 3 there.
Cole Creighton punts it. And number 0, J.J. Johnson's going to fair catch it at the 10-yard line. If he hadn't fair caught it, number 0 for the Saints, Max Eldridge, was waiting on him. So probably a good decision there. Wolves will be backed up at their own 10. And we'll run off the last 10-20 of this football game before the Saints will take the long trip back to Northwest Arkansas. But it'll be a victorious one as Shiloh hangs on to this one. They'll be 6-2 on the year. And then they'll try to finish up the regular season next week. 7-2 with the win. Yeah, the 2 teams we've lost to, Cliff, we're going to have the number 1 team in 6A, and after this snap, we'll talk about Lincoln Christian as there's the handoff going right side, or maybe to the 12. But, yeah, Cliff, we actually was talking to someone after the Lincoln Christian game, and after watching those guys, and I said Shiloh lost the close game in that one. I was like, Cliff, I told somebody, I said the only difference for Lincoln Christian after that game tonight with the shirts they print at the end of the season say undefeated state champs 14-0 or 13-1, because that was one of the just a solid football team. You'd be shocked if they lost a game. Saints gave them a game that night. It was a close football game, but Lincoln pulled it out. But
well, and I think last year, and it may be true again this year, Shiloh played Lincoln the closest game they played all season.
Yep, they sure did. And I have a feeling it's going to be very similar this year watching that football team. There's a big hit in the backfield back to the 11-yard line, so a loss of 1 right there. It's the aforementioned Max Eldridge.
And you got Corbin Miller, number 42. Both those players on the defensive side, sophomores, been starters all season long, do a great job of just plugging holes on the defensive side. Great nose for the football, both those players.
So 3rd down and long for the Wolves as they're kind of huddling up here with 8:35 to go, deep in their own territory. They are sitting where they started this drive at the 10-yard line. Split backfield between Audrey and Johnson. They're going to hand it to Johnson going this way to the 10, and he's hitting the backfield. I don't even know if he got back to the original line of scrimmage, so it's going to be 4th down, and Lake Hamilton will punt.
Johnson slow getting up there as you see him, the ball carrier, and who's had a great night, but that may be the best defensive play Shiloh's had on Johnson tonight, stopping him right at the line of scrimmage, if not for no gain, maybe even a slight loss there.
Yeah, Cliff, you talk about this Lake Hamilton team, more than likely the way the seeds are going to play out if they win next week, which they will be heavy favorites. They will get the last seed from the West into the playoffs, and if you get Johnson enough carries and you can control a game, this is a team that could be very dangerous for somebody in the East. If they can get Johnson going, there's the punt out of the end zone. Pretty good punt. Beach has got it at the 45. He's got a little bit of room this way, but a lot of red jerseys, and he just slides down like a shortstop sliding into the second base right there.
Well, he had 9 guys coming at him. That's probably a pretty smart move. I mean, you've got a game that's out of hand. Do I want to get hit, or do I just want to go down and bring my offense back here at the 35-yard line? Smart move by the junior.
Yeah, he had just a lot of red jerseys. Kind of the Washington commander look with their uniforms that Lake Hamilton has here. So at the 35, Bodenstein still in at quarterback here on this drive. Shiloh's going to hand it off coming this way and then hit at the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Big number 50 for 50 for Lake Hamilton. Got away with a little late punch on the running back right there. So,
yes, Connor Clark, number 14, getting the carry there for no gain, but yeah, a little extra push on the ground there by the defense.
A little frustration that Lake Hamilton kind of got away with right there. So at the 35, 2nd and 10, Clark will stay in the game at backfield. Saints are going to shift a H-back tight end to the left. Handoff, Connor coming this way. He's hit at the line, and big number 50 throws him down again, and Coach Tucker Barnard is all over the official as he lifted him up and then just planted him in the ground. So 3rd down and long at the 3rd and 11 at the 36-yard line for the Saints. Here as we'll hit the final 6 minutes of this football game. Hard snap, and Lake Hamilton was showing blitz, so we'll see if they adjust. As we'll see what the sign and the new play call is for the Saint defense here. Saint offense, 3rd and 10, back to pass. Bodenstein fires over the middle. It's caught at the 25 and then taken down at the 23-yard line. Boy, we got guys flying everywhere right there. But it is enough of the first down. Bodenstein with a good pass. Elijah Munson makes the catch at the 22, so first down for the Saints. So Elijah got a couple receptions against Siloam, picks up one here. Seen another sophomore, Weston Huckabee. He's out here on the far left. He's kind of been the leader of that sophomore class as far as receptions this year. So see Elijah Munson catching a couple passes there. There's a handoff coming this way. Fryer to the 20, to the 15. Boy, you see the speed for Will to the 10, to the 5. He gets in. Touchdown. Boy, the sophomore running back right there, you see he's excited as he gets a touchdown right there. Good hard run, and he puts it in the end zone. So Fryer adds the above 60 point for the St. offense. It's a 62-12 with 4:42 left. And, you know, this is the fun part of the game, Cliff. If you're a dad of a sophomore player out on the field, hey, man, these guys, they can't wait for these opportunities, and they're going to run hard.
Yeah, again, another week of no JV games on Monday night. Or did they play on Monday night? No, I think they did play.
I think they did.
I think they went to Alma. I'm sorry. We've had several canceled, so
we've had so many injuries. We've not been able to play some games.
But you see the replay here. Great run. I mean, you talked about Will Fryer getting the ball. Obviously, it starts up front, having a hole, but you see a little stutter step to the right, and then a couple missed tackles. But Will, when he gets the ball, the handoff is made to him. He is already at his speed. I mean, it's not like some guys that get it and then it takes them a few yards to get there. He is already hitting that hole full speed and has great vision down the floor, down the field. But again, it starts up front with holes created by the offensive line, and then let the running backs do what they do. And Will Fryer did it very well for his touchdown.
Well, you think about Griffin Mason, obviously going to go play some college football at Harding after this year, but with Will Fryer and Charlie Krell, 2 junior running backs next year, the Saints are going to have some really big game, big hitting threats at the running back position. 2 guys who are very fast. We've seen Charlie play a lot as a sophomore, and just really the couple weeks ago, you could almost see Charlie really getting a lot more confidence, and as he's played a little bit more and been efficient right there. So Saints lead 63-12 with 3:07 left to go in this game. So it'll be one last drive. We'll see. Lake Hamilton makes a lot of changes on the offensive front here at the 15 to the 20 and then to the 25-yard line and taken down right there. That's where the Wolves will start what will probably be the final possession of this game, as the clock operators kind of let this thing roll continuously with that. So, Cliff, next week, Van Buren at home will be the regular season finale. And at a minimum for the Saints, you obviously hope Mountain Home could somehow beat Greenwood. You get a 3-way tie, and who knows what happens at that point with the point totals. But at a minimum, you're probably going in next week saying the 2 seed is ours if we win.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you got to do. You know, you win on senior night at home against Van Buren, and you are the 2 seed. Again, that's important because you get a bye the following week. Hand off over to the left side. Pretty big hole. And it'll move the chains, about 12, 13-yard gain there for the Wolves. But you get a bye, and so that's good. I mean, byes can be good and bad. And when you're playing the way Shiloh's playing right now, just across the board, offense, defense, special teams, you kind of want to keep that rolling. But it does allow guys to kind of heal up a little bit if they've been dinged up and get a game plan going into the next 3 games as you approach a trip to Little Rock. But you get the bye and then you get a home game and then see what happens from there. Go on the road maybe for the semifinal round, maybe something that happened across the state and you get to host a semifinal game. And, boy, Little Rock's just a few weeks away. And these Saints are really playing at a high level right now. If they can just stay healthy and keep it up, man, I think we've got a great shot to go to Little Rock for a 7th straight year, which is just unprecedented.
State championship games on a Friday night this year on December 5th at 7 o'clock at War Memorial. So Saints trying to get there as Lake Hamilton with 58 seconds left to go. They're going to throw it out in the flat. It's going to be incomplete. Receiver caught it and tried to take off a little bit too quick as Davenport threw that one incomplete. So Lake Hamilton will have a 3rd down with 40 seconds left to go in the game. So again, as Shiloh will wrap up the victory here, 63-12 in the last few seconds of this game. Saints will be at home to close out the regular season against Van Buren next Friday night. And then we'll have, as Cliff said, likely a bye and then a home playoff game coming up in the next couple weeks. Is what it looks like for the Saints as we wrap up their end of the regular season. And Shiloh is a kind of fitting way to do it, a handoff, and they're going to lose yardage in the backfield. 15 seconds left to go. Lake Hamilton, they're not going to run another play. Kind of a fitting way to end this one. The defense dominated a lot of this game. They wind up with a lost yardage play on the Lake Hamilton's last offensive drive. So the clock ticks down. Saints are going to win it 63-12 over Lake Hamilton, and this one's an awesome first half for Cole Creighton. 444 yards, 7 touchdowns in the first half. Set the tone, and so, hey, Cliff, long drive. Saints did the job tonight. Good win.
Absolutely. I mean, a little revenge win. You know, the Saints were disappointed. They lost at home last year on senior night. They returned the favor down here at Lake Hamilton on Lake Hamilton's senior night, and the Saints win big. Lake Hamilton, no answers in the air of defending Cole Creighton and his receivers. Zane Slider, an incredible game. Chandler Kemp, a great game. Charlie Kroll, a great game. And just all around, great defensive effort. Great job, obviously, on the offense to put up 63 points. And it's exactly what these parents and fans drove 3.5 hours to see, is a show by the Saints, and they put it on tonight. So back home next Friday night, we need everybody to come out. Senior night. Let's recognize the seniors and their contributions to the program through the years. But for tonight, this one belongs to the Saints. Great win.
Well, for Brian Dunaway and his great crew, we thank you for joining us. Final score from Lake Hamilton, Saints 63, Lake Hamilton 12. Good night, everybody.